accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, live on Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. A pleasure to be with you, as always, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. I say that with full confidence because all you get when you go to theadvocates.com is clear, risk-free advice. And why that matters, because the advocates understand when you've been in an accident, it is one of the worst days of your life. So you can just hand them the claims process. Let them take that off your plate. Let them give you that emotional freedom to heal, to get back to the best version of yourself. You just go about your day feeling better because the advocates got this, right? Because they fought the fight that you're about to get into. Not only that, they've won that fight with your insurance company over and over and over again. Go to the advocates first. Don't call your insurance company, call the advocates, because they're ready to fight for you. And the best part is you never reach into your pocket because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case at theadvocates.com. All right, let's get right into it. The scumbags in Ann Arbor won the basketball thing that we have every March. Yep, the NCAA tournament has come and gone. Michigan wins, and frankly, in this game, the thing that really stands out to me is this just was a not very good UConn team. And Michigan knocked down shots. That's what I felt like was the biggest difference here. I didn't feel like Michigan was significantly better than UConn. I just feel like when you're UConn and you're in the NCAA tournament final and you can't make open layups, you don't deserve to win a championship. And you lost by 6 points. I could have seen Michigan win this game by 25 points, and I could have seen UConn win this game by 25 points. But UConn was horrendous from the floor, as was Michigan. This certainly was not some beautiful display of amazing basketball. Let's just get that out of the way right now. This was a messy physical game. And if UConn makes half of the missed layups, they probably win the national championship, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like certainly the missed shot portion of the game was one that that really hurt UConn, no question about it. I think that, in the first half, I felt like it was super physical. I felt like, the game was just kind of this ugly, miss a lot of shots, fight for rebounds, kind of, go back and forth, bash each other kind of game. And that's not the kind of game that you want to be playing against Michigan, right? I mean, I think that this Michigan team is loaded with guys who are in their early 20s. They're a little bit older of a team, so they're a strong team. They're a physical team. They know how to play that game. Yeah. And I think that, it's just that wasn't, I guess I was just a little bit surprised to see that UConn didn't have more in the game plan to avoid playing that style of game. I mean, I if you're playing Michigan, I think it goes without saying that, Mullins needs to have a good night. It goes without saying that your playmakers need to have a good start to the game and need to find their groove early. And they simply didn't do that. And so then it's this situation where you get into some foul trouble in the first half. You got to play that game. And so you wind up getting behind. And so you're at the half and you're down 11 instead of 5 or 6, and you find yourself chasing Michigan into the second half. And then, Michigan comes out and, starts to find the mid-range a little bit in the second half and starts to find some easier buckets. And, one thing leads to another. And I still maintain with, I think it was like 45 seconds left in the game. Michigan turns it over twice and you still had an opportunity to win this game. So, credit to Michigan for winning the game. They found a way. But I would completely agree with you. I don't think that this was some great game or some awesome display of basketball. This was just Michigan out rebounding you, out physicaling you, and basically outlasting you until the time ran out.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm not even trying to be a red ass. Sure, I hate Michigan as much as everybody hates Michigan, right?
Mhm.
But they were the best basketball team. There's just no question about that. And I think they earned that national championship, and they, as far as we know, didn't have to lie, cheat, and steal to do it. I think it'll be very interesting to see where college basketball goes from here, because I do also think the NCAA tournament is still very good. It is still compelling basketball. And I don't understand why this final was on TBS. And maybe I'm just being red ass old man about this. I don't know. I hate that this was on TBS. And I think it is what I always complain about, which is look at how we have to watch television, and particularly sports on TV. It's a wreck right now.
Mm-hmm.
Putting this game on TBS instead of CBS is an absolute slap in the face to sports fans. We deserved CBS. This event deserved a network television appearance. And yet we have to go to TBS. And we have to, it's just not as special as it should have been. And the broadcast was fine. But why are we putting this on True TV? Why are we more focused on promoting Paramount Plus? What's the right way to say it? Don't our biggest sporting events belong on network TV?
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be easy to access, and I think that it's it goes back to that conversation that we've had many times over the last several months, you and I, and the comment section, talking about how YouTube TV is hit or miss. It's really nice to be able to know that all right, at least if it's on TBS, it'll be on YouTube TV. I can just turn that on and it'll be there. But at the same time, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think this goes back to the SEC CBS split. All right. How many of us miss having the CBS vibes for SEC football? I mean, that's something that we miss now because it's ESPN. And I think that, the tournament had a lot of haters this year early on. A lot of people said, hey, this tournament is boring. It's not what it needs to be. It's not. It's just going to be underwhelming. And I think, I don't think you can say that about this year's tournament. We didn't get the Cinderella story final. We didn't get FAU and San Diego State or some random ass matchup in the final. We had two juggernauts, Michigan and UConn. I would have expected this game to do pretty good numbers. So we'll see what it did when the numbers come out. But yeah, I mean, I think generally speaking, the tournament, the big thing for the tournament is it just needs to continue to be easily accessible for the masses, because it is a college basketball tournament. I think that, yeah, sure, guys like us who are working age and in that part of life, we're always going to be able to find it. But for me, what's important is that I want the college kid who is studying to be able to find it. I just want to make sure that it stays accessible. But does that
kid want to find it?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I would think some of them do, but maybe not all of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at Michigan or UConn, you do. But you're probably focused on dubage and chicks and hopefully classwork at some point, right? But does TBS do replays of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air register with college freshman guy? Probably not.
Probably not.
And I just think it's an indication of how much I hate the way we have to watch TV right now. I feel like it's a massive pain in my ass. And never mind that, I flip on the TV to enjoy a little lunch and, try to get caught up on the news at the Masters, and my TV's got to do an update.
God, you were just an update hell yesterday.
And never
Good
mind
Lord.
that I flip open the old MacBook Pro juggernaut that I paid $8 trillion for to make sure that the show is written and, produced, and I've got to take an update for that. And now security, because of hackers. And so never mind all of that. And got to take an update, guy, because all of our smart devices.
It vexes me.
Never mind that nonsense. And then I'm like, I flip on the game and I'm like, where's it? Oh, it's on TBS. That's right. So now I have to go over to, am I going to go to Paramount Plus? Am I going to go to YouTube TV?
Oh.
Can I just flip on the TV and put on channel 2 and watch the game?
No.
How about that? No, you can't. No, you can't. And it just, I know I'm the old man on my porch howling at the moon, and I get it. I totally get it. But I just feel like this NCAA tournament was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I actually felt like the basketball was really good. I felt like the quality of the tournament was really good. And then we get nonsense like TBS and, I think UConn shot 31% from the floor or something stupid like that. Like,
yeah,
the final was anything but a shining moment, anything but the coup de grace, the cherry on top of the tournament Sunday. The final was unenjoyable.
Yeah, Duke UConn was miles better.
Miles better. The scumbags in Ann Arbor won the tournament, which sucks. But I do think that there is a conversation to be had about the Big Ten Conference. And the fact that the Big Ten Conference it's inarguable at this point. The Big Ten is dominating college sports. You're making history with the fact that 3 different schools in the same year won the football, basketball, and women's basketball championship. Because remember, over the weekend, UCLA won the women's tournament. Those scumbags in Ann Arbor won the men's tournament. And Indiana goes back-to-back for the Big Ten to win the national championship of college football.
Google me.
It is inarguable at this point that the Big Ten is having athletic success beyond the SEC. And when you begin to look at the landscape of college sports, my biggest question is, why does the Big Ten not have more influence off the field and off the court? That's what comes to my mind. Because Tony Patini, in my opinion, is feckless. He's powerless. He's just a dude. And the cycle will come back around, I am sure, at some point. I would love to see the Big 12 or the ACC step up and be the next dominant sports conference. That's not going to happen. They simply don't have the resources that the SEC and the Big Ten currently have.
Yeah.
But Jake, I don't think you can argue anymore. The Big Ten is dominating college sports.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the last, the last 5 years in Big Ten history and lore, and I think it's a really interesting case study. You've got this conference that's had all kinds of drama and all kinds of issues, and obviously all the Michigan stuff and just everything the conference has been through in totality. And yet somehow they found a way to turn a corner. And, it's like, again, Ohio, like, look at these last couple of championships. Ohio State was Ryan Day at Ohio State was on the verge of being run out of there, and then gets Will Howard to come and be his quarterback and wins it, what most people regard as the toughest college football national championship we've ever seen, just with who they played and the path. And we've talked about that. So it was like, all right, cool. That was like a historic thing. All right, great. Then you got Sig doing what Sig did. He comes onto the scene. Everyone loves him. The Google Me red ass thing. Like, it's all anybody wanted to talk about. All right, cool. You went back to back. All right, great. And then what do we get? We get Dusty May coming in, and in year one, just, torching everything, bringing in a bunch of dudes to the portal, basically taking the Signetti blueprint and applying it to a basketball floor with bring a lot of guys in who are older, develop those guys and play a physical game. So clearly there is a blueprint in the Big Ten right now. in my opinion, that's being used, which is get older players who are more grown and can be more physical to control the game. Just generally speaking, doesn't matter what sport you're playing. And that blueprint is working well for them. And I think was on full display last night for Michigan. And yeah, that success on the floor has put them in a position where they can say right now that they've had the most success in the last probably 5 years in athletics at the college level. And I think the interesting part is that, you're having all this success, but Tony Petitti has to find a way to parlay that success into power and control. And I just don't buy that he as a commissioner will be able to do that. And it really is, as far as the Big Ten is concerned, I think we all agree, it really is a ticking time bomb worth of a conference. Like, you're going to have all the success in athletics, but we know at some point there will be another scandal. It always seems to happen for this conference. And that's not even me hating. That's just, if you look at this conference the last 20 years, there's been scandal after scandal. So my only question is, how long can they keep winning without having issues? Because the SEC at some point is going to turn it around. I don't know if that's this coming season or, when that's going to take place. But you look at LSU with all the money they've spent, theoretically, Texas should be better. Alabama, we'll see what they look like. And OU should be really good for the conference. So, and then of course we're waiting for Kirby to wake back up. So I don't know.
Don't forget about your guy at Florida.
Yeah, Gatorhead boy. Got to earn it, right? Dap up and run players over in the tunnel guy. That guy. Yeah,
Summerall.
Yeah, Summerall, not Summerall, Summerall. So, I let me just put it out there. Yeah, I hate Michigan. I'm not a Michigan guy. I think that it's a despicable athletic department. I think Ward Manuel should have been fired years ago. He's still in place. And my biggest fear is that, as long as he's in place, debauchery will continue. And now the problem is you've got Kyle Whittingham as your football coach and Dusty May as your basketball coach. And, theoretically, if you look at track record, those two guys should run pretty clean programs as far as essay cases are concerned and, butter knifing is concerned. And, it should be pretty clean, but it's Michigan. So I don't know. That's my issue.
God, I don't want to go down this road with those scumbags in Ann Arbor, but
they give us no choice. I mean,
it does feel like that. That is constantly a 10,000-pound gorilla in the room. Nobody recognizes their football championship because they're a bunch of scumbag lying cheaters who sell vacuums. But at least they give cheeseburgers to hungry kids.
Right.
You just look at where the Big Ten is. I think if this conference had real leadership, it would be a behemoth. It would have real power and sway over the future of college football, and it simply does not. And it'll be interesting to see how long Tony Petitti survives, because all he's done under his watch is win championships. All they've done is win since he showed up. And it is very interesting to see how all this plays out.
At what price, though? At what price? That's not all he's done.
I agree. I don't disagree with that at all. Michigan essentially has gotten away with murder in football.
Yeah.
Well, butter knives. So, attempted.
You don't always have to be negative.
My point is, I'm very interested to see where the future of the Big Ten is. All right. Yeah. Midweek Coug, who's been a member for 25 months.
Very nice.
Thanks for doing your job, Jake. Good morning. My allergies are wrecking me.
Oh, okay. A lot of sneezing happening and stuff.
The last 2 days in the great state of Washington have been the two most beautiful days I've ever experienced here. Like yesterday, I wrapped up my workday and went for a nice 35-minute walk, and the sun was warm and it was amazing. Now today it's going to be windy and 50 degrees again, but it is what it is. Welcome to the nightmare. Hello, Matt Ritson. Hello, Pixar mom, Dana. Oh yeah, I guess we undersold the lead. Congratulations, Connor Carlisle, who won the Monty Show bracket challenge. with 131 points. James McKenzie finished second with 129. Lamont Tucker finished third with 127.
Okay, I'm glad we have a different James that finished second. That would have been unbearable.
Yeah, Michael Ula Giggity finished.
Hey, Giggity.
Brett Richgels.
Who the fuck is that guy?
And Hank Loranger. Dave Shelto. The Dude. Steve Zalit. And Dana Marie finished 10th. So, Dana, congratulations, James, on a top 10 finish. We appreciate you being here.
And what was Buddy's name? Who won? Connor? What was it? Connor
Carlisle.
Okay, you got to DM me if you would like your gift card, because I have no idea who you are. I have no idea how to contact you. So got to DM me on Instagram, bro.
West Virginia University for us.
Wow.
Let's go Mountaineers. Well, they did win. What is the name of the crappy other tournament?
The championship.
It's something.
Yeah.
They won one of the other, the Jewel or
Caramel.
That's it. The Caramel tournament. So congratulations to West Virginia. Cheating won. TCU will win the College World Series.
Oh, okay? Man. Well, dude, James is going to have an absolute conniption if that happens, bro.
You know. Brian Parrish, M5D.
D.
Now you are going to start hearing the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 complain about they should not have the national championship because they are the Big 10. I don't know what that means. I'm not quite sure what that means, but okay. Likely to be on CBS with the future, in the future with the WB takeover. Could be.
Hey, listen, I sure hope so, bro. I sure hope so. That would be ideal.
Yeah, Am I being get off my lawn guy with the TV complaining? I feel like it's so miserable in the comments section.
Yeah.
Do you like the way TV currently works? I hate it. I hate everything about it. All the different apps, like, having to go to Paramount, the Cock, Prime Video.
I mean, I will say that there's this trade-off for me that's happening right now. So, like, as it warms up and, as you can get out on the course more and be at the range more, and as the sun stays up longer, being outside a little more, trying to be like, I find myself at least taking advantage of the fact that I can get like the apps and stuff. Like I can view them on my phone while I'm doing that at least. So, I mean, that's a small plus, but I do agree that the clunkiness is just what's difficult, like you were kind of talking about how like, and this has happened to me too, where like you'll turn your TV on and it's like, okay, you're in update hell. Update 800.2-5 needs to be taken now. And if you don't do it, your TV's not going to work. And it's like, all right, cool, dude. Like there's just that little thing called the national championship on TV. Like I just was trying to watch that. So can we hold off? And it's like, no, you can't. You have to do it right now. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you do. Like, what's the alternative? Like, and we talked about this before.
I truly
like,
don't know.
Like, are we supposed to look back into DirecTV? I mean, is that what we're supposed to do? Are we supposed to, because like I thought about it. I was like, all right, well, look, if we didn't have YouTube TV, like what would be the setup? Well, the setup would be, I guess, DirecTV, and then just like the apps, that you frequent, just a couple of apps you frequent, like that, I guess would be the setup. But that's the problem now, is that there's no integration between the two. It's brutal.
Yeah, you got to flip around, and yeah, it's awful. The only game that will really be remembered from this entire tournament is UConn and Duke. I would agree with that. I'd agree with that. Chewy Gonzalez, screw the Dodgers. Dodgers are banging. Don't get mad at the streaming services. Get mad at the sports league for doing this a la carte BS. I don't disagree with that at all. Can we just get back to cable everything on one app? This sucks. You need 8 apps to watch stuff. Yep. Totally agree. Big time championship should be on network TV. I even hated when they moved to ESPN. Totally agree. Jeremiah Champion. He's a substitute teacher. Okay. At first, I was kind of excited about streaming, but now it's just as expensive as regular cable, but you have to have certain apps to watch certain content. Got to. And the question is, which one can you do without?
Right.
The answer is, I don't know. I don't know. I need Peacock because Hank Voight.
But see, like you could get that on YouTube TV, like the NBC stuff. Yeah, you can get that on YouTube TV.
I want it on demand. I want to watch it when I want to watch it.
Right.
Right. Like
they have a library that you can get it. Anyway.
Screw them.
Yeah, whatever.
Screw them. Right. I don't even know that about YouTube TV. I don't know why I have YouTube TV. I'm not sure. Why do we, in all honesty, why?
Well, I don't have it to watch baseball. I can tell you that.
Chuck Cooper lives for golf. Okay, well, I like that you play golf. Who pissed in your cornflakes?
Today Golden Grams weren't available.
Today is a great day to be a Michigan Wolverine. No, it's not.
Yeah, there's never a great day to be a Wolverine. That's what you don't seem to understand, Chuck. It's not a good day because there's never a good day in Ann Arbor.
I mean, unless you're a lying scumbag and, you know, your name's
kick it, will flow.
Ward Manuel. You know, I'm not going to go all in. I enjoy, listen, you like golf. That's great.
Okay, Chuck, let's do it this way, dude. You like golf. All right. What is your, if your handicap is sub 10, we'll go in on Michigan for you. Okay. If you're like a 5, we'll spend time absolutely gashing butter knives and company for you. So what's your handicap? And as a second question to that, who do you have winning the Masters this week? And if you say Chris Gotterup, I'll smack you. Okay. We're not doing Gotterup this week.
We are not doing Gotterup.
Yeah.
And listen. No, we're going to talk about Tiger Woods in a while. We're not doing Chris Gotterup. Don't say it. Matchup throwdown. Every time TCU appears in Omaha, it's basically 2 in a barbecue. At least James can now get Buc-ee's on his way out of town. There you go. Jeremiah Champion says Peacock also has that 70s show.
Well, dude,
Danny Masterson.
What would I have done without that?
Dude, that 70s show was actually really good.
Well, legitimately though, like, see, this is the other problem with the app situation.
Yes.
I mean, how much time do you really have to be watching Chicago PD? Honestly,
we watch it on Friday night. Well, that's it.
Like,
I don't watch a whole lot of episodic television.
But this is my point. So you don't watch a lot of episodic television, yet you still have like a lot of these apps. That's the dynamic I can't seem to escape. Like YouTube TV, ESPN, Prime, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Netflix.
And I get like half of those free from American Express. Yeah. So that's great. But I have Amazon Prime because, well, I have Amazon Prime. Okay. Netflix, I could give a rat's ass. I never watch Netflix. My wife does. I do not. Chuck says he's a legit 10. All right, screw Michigan. You know. It's fine. Jay Chapman, my handicap is 50. I have no idea what my handicap is right now. I am telling you, at some point I will stop perpetually changing my swing.
It does. You don't change your swing. It's just ever evolving, Monty. You know.
Why do I even bring irons to the course? Just bring your putter.
Just you might as well just use like your new 5 wood as your irons for every single shot. Just do that instead.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. Michigan full of cheaters and thieves. I totally agree with that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And that's the hard part is that, like, I don't even, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, the new faces of Michigan are terrible guys. Obviously, Kyle Whittingham's not a bad dude. Dusty May is a nice story if you take Michigan out of it. If you just look at a coaching career and how he's elevated and his path, and like
Dusty May is a good story. Yep.
Yeah. So like, I don't have an issue with those two. I guess what I despise is that Michigan as an institution, I don't feel like ever really took that final step of clearing house and like resetting the athletic department. I still feel like the stench of fat ass Ward Manuel is still alive and well. And I'll be honest, I was watching that game last night and I'm like, yeah, dude, they're going to win this game. And here we go again. We're going to have to talk about job of the manual, not fired yet. And they haven't fired him. And Butter Knives wasn't his fault. Jim wasn't his fault. Like, all these dudes weren't his fault, even though it happened under his watch. How is that possible?
But isn't everything Ward Manuel's fault? I mean, you're the athletic director.
Responsibility, dude. Yet he's still there.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Can we just use a tax write-off for the streaming? All of mine are a tax write-off.
Oh, of course. You have to. Yeah, you have to. Of course.
Frogfather says FTR, it's always screw Michigan. Yes, it is.
FTR. Nice.
It is always screw Michigan.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, but it just is what it is. I think this tournament was very good. I'm not a huge college basketball fan, but can we stop? Again, why does everything have to be utopic for you to like college sports? Like this argument about whether or not college sports are amateur sports. When was the last time it was an amateur sport? And why do you care? Why do you care? Like, I think we all hang on to this idea that college sports is broken. Well, I can tell you on the field, they're not broken. The business aspect of it, yeah, obviously we have all kinds of issues. But can you legitimately sit here and tell me that coming out of this NCAA tournament, that the college basketball product is broken? Because I'm telling you it's not. I think this was a wonderful showcase for college basketball. I mean, the Duke UConn game was incredible. The shot from UConn, like, there was really high-level basketball played in this tournament. And all we want to do is sit around and complain that they're not amateurs anymore. They're making too much money. Let Donnie restrict them. By the way, thanks, Donnie, for getting our entire channel pretty much shut down yesterday by YouTube.
Oh.
Right? Like we just get into the weeds on this stuff. You know what the biggest issue is? We've forgotten that we're actually supposed to enjoy college sports.
Mm-hmm.
Because all we want to do is bitch about the transfer portal and NIL this, and old white guys want to keep their money that. Like, who cares? Can we just, even if it's just for 2 weeks for the NCAA tournament, can we just enjoy basketball for once?
Yeah, well, the problem is when you've got like Miami of Ohio out here talking about how, scheduling's an issue, and, you've got Siena pushing Duke to the limit, and like, so you have the chaos of the tournament taking place, and, the little guy's always going to run their mouth while they're still involved in the tournament in the first couple of rounds, and so that's what I think makes it difficult to just purely enjoy it. And,
sure.
And again, you asked me at the beginning of the tournament before the ball started bouncing, what do you want out of the tournament? And I said, I want a chaos. And I feel like we got a good bit of that. I feel like there were many, 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 many chaotic moments in this tournament that just were, just crazy. And in the Duke UConn Mullen shot is the pinnacle of that. But I guess what's hard is that, like, sometimes I wonder, as like from a bigger picture with college athletics, like I sometimes wonder to myself, hey, like if I didn't have to pay attention, like if we didn't do a show and I just was a regular person, how much would I actually follow like college sports and the tournament? Like would I be like as plugged in as I am now, or am I like, I'm always trying to measure that to try to understand, okay, well, was it a good tournament? Well, yeah,
I think it was an excellent tournament.
I thought it was a good tournament. I thought, like I thought those early games where Duke struggled a little bit really helped the tournament to stay relevant. People really like when the big dog struggles early against a little guy you've never heard of. And I feel like we got that this year. And I feel like it's just this thing where the tournament thrives when the round of 32 has upsets. And we did have some of that this year. So, I think overall it worked. I think that Haterade drinker who was like, hey, the tournament sucks and this is overrated, definitely got sent home early this year. Like it turned out. But I agree that it needs to be, the tournament needs to continue to transition to be on, like you said, CBS or mainstay network television. That has to happen.
Yep, I agree. And I saw this too. I mean, bars this past weekend were like, did you guys see the bars in Old Town Scottsdale? Which is kind of like this eclectic mix of humanity where people from everywhere kind of come together to give each other COVID in a bar.
If you guys ever want to kick it, we'll flow.
But the bars were full. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. I think the people who have the luxury of not caring about the business side of college sports really enjoyed this NCAA tournament.
Yep. That's a great way to put it. It is a luxury.
Maybe that's the way we should do it, right? Maybe that's the way we should do it. Because you can't enjoy the fact that your favorite college basketball team panic hired a coach.
Please.
Because I think that's what we did at North Carolina. And Michael Malone's a good hire. Don't get me wrong. Michael Malone is a good hire. Your immediate reaction to North Carolina hiring Michael Malone?
It's a home run. It's a home run. It's not a panic hire. And I couldn't disagree more with the assertion that people are saying it's them just hiring a guy off the street and they're panicked. I disagree with that. If you had hired Billy Donovan, you're panicking, right? What's the difference? Well, Billy hasn't won a championship at the NBA level. Billy doesn't quite have the success that Mike's got in terms of winning and building culture and doing the things that Mike has done. And to me, when you're talking about UNC hiring a coach, what's most important is pedigree, right? Obviously, this guy doesn't have loads of college experience. Obviously, he spent most of his time in the NBA. But if you said, hey, we're gonna hire an NBA champion to be our next head coach at UNC, and that guy's hungry and he's ready to coach and he wants to do this and he has experience because his daughter's there and like he knows our culture. Like I guess I just didn't understand why everyone was like, oh, it's a panic hire, or they, like if you want to say they didn't get the guy they wanted, so they defaulted to Mike Malone. Okay, I can get down with that, sure. But again, I'm telling you, it's going to be fine. Like I thought it was a great hire. I thought they crushed it.
I don't think on its face hiring Mike Malone is a bad idea. Or excuse me, ask him. He'll tell you it's Michael. Hiring Michael as your new head coach at North Carolina was not a bad decision. I actually like it more than Billy Donovan. But I think when you look at where North Carolina is as a program, I think Mike Malone's exactly what you needed. He's going to be able to recruit. You look at Michigan, the fact that I love that people are all upset that they're the first starting five all to have transferred to that school, and then they won a championship.
Present.
That's the modern era of college basketball. That's how Indiana did it. That's how Michigan did it. That's how it's going to be. And I think Mike Malone checks that box at North Carolina. He knows the NBA. He's got a ring in the NBA. He has coached MVPs. The guy's rock solid.
What did they say about Kevin Young, dude? Oh, NBA guy, incredible hire. He's going to be amazing at BYU. Why is so we said that about Kevin Young, who hasn't done nearly as much as Mike has done in the NBA. Yet, because it's UNC, this is a panic hire, and this is, you know what I mean?
I don't even think they're comparable. I think Michael Malone has vastly more experience. What has he won, like 900 games or something?
Yeah.
Michael Malone's got vastly different experience. I think Kevin Young is a child. Kevin Young is undeveloped as a head coach. this is not new. I've said this before. I think Kevin Young did immeasurable damage to BYU this year. I mean, you lost a lot of games because Kevin Young was your head coach. That'll change and get better, but Michael Malone's not going to make the same mistakes Kevin Young made. And I think that Michael Malone for North Carolina is the right guy, because when you're competing at the level that North Carolina is competing at, which is you win the championship or people are upset with you, you need guys who understand that pressure. Because this also goes back to Mick Cronin, right? They pay us a lot of money to win games. And I think Mike Malone is the right guy.
I love building something, preparing, being organized. But the most important thing that I miss is being a part of something much bigger than myself, being in that locker room with the players, being with the coaching staff, celebrating a big win. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love my dogs. But I do miss being a part of that team camaraderie, locker room atmosphere. And I look forward to getting back to that. You know, I'm definitely not done coaching. Coaching is in my blood. I got that from my father. And I'm excited to get back coaching on those sidelines and teaching once again.
Do you want that guy or do you want this guy?
That's one of our secret sauces is we have an incredibly talented group of coaches that never make it about themselves. And look, this is an ego-driven business. This is a lot of alpha males with great egos, and that's why they're successful doing what they do. And these guys have made our players the number 1, 2, and 3 priority from day one over their own careers, over their own individual attention and accolades and things like that. And so it's hard for our players not to follow the team, which is the staff, when they're modeling that behavior every day.
I mean, it's very interesting. Like they're very similar dudes, and I think coaching college basketball is very difficult.
And
I think it is very, very difficult.
And I see everyone in the comments section, you know, talking about Billy Donovan's back-to-back or his 2 national championships in, what was it, 06 and 07, I think it was, he won. Listen, dude, here's the problem with that take. Here's the problem. Dude won national championships pre-2010. Do you understand how different the game is now than it was then? Do you understand that saying that dude is a better hire because he's got 2 national championships in 06 and 07? Why does that you don't have credibility at that point? This is what I say about college football coaches all the time. Nobody cares what you did in the 90s or early 2000s or I mean, that's you're talking about, dude, you're talking about national championships that are, I mean, super old. I mean, what is that? That's 20 years old at this point, dude. That's 20 years ago. And you understand that after that, he didn't win another national championship. And the guy left the college ranks in 2015. You understand he went 9 years, 9 more seasons without winning. You get that, right?
Yeah.
So I understand that it's easy to be like, oh, well, what do you mean, dude? Like, he won national championships. You know, how can you say Mike Malone has more of a pedigree in college than Billy Donovan? Well, mainly because dude knows how to coach modern-day player. Mainly because he's got the right energy.
Mike Malone has accomplished nothing in college basketball. And I think it is an incredibly difficult climb to go from the NBA and then succeed in college basketball. I think this is a really good hire. I think it's going to be very questionable about his success and what success will look like for Michael Malone. I think it's a very difficult hire. And Billy Donovan being hired by the Bulls is one of the biggest mistakes the Bulls have ever made. But he also has terrible front office and ownership, so we can make excuses. Billy Donovan's essentially has never coached in college basketball because the game is completely different than when he won his championships at Florida. But Billy Donovan is incredibly accomplished at the college level. You know, I don't.
Yeah, I guess I just view it differently. I think that yeah, sure, dude's accomplished things at the college level. That doesn't mean that he's the right fit for UNC right now. And I don't. It's a what have you done?
That's a different conversation, though. What you said about Billy Donovan, in my opinion, is completely wrong. I think that Billy Donovan is a a legendary college coach. You don't win multiple national championships like he did. I disagree. He doesn't have the pedigree that Mike Malone had. I totally disagree with that. I think Billy Donovan was a failure as a head coach at the NBA level and an elite coach at college. But I don't know that he's elite at anything because I think college basketball is completely different than when he was in the game. But the idea that Mike Malone is somehow more accomplished, I totally disagree with that. I don't think that's
nobody said he was more accomplished at the college level. I didn't say that. What
does pedigree mean?
Well, pedigree means that the guy knows how to win now, that he's got success now, that he can say to a college player, hey, I know how to, I've won at the NBA level. I know what it takes to become a great player, and I can help you do that. If anybody thinks that this guy's not going to be able to go in and inside of 2 years be in the Sweet 16, you're out of your damn mind. He's going to go in. He's going to recruit. But
it's not good enough. It's not good enough to be in the Sweet 16. You're at North Carolina, and we disagree on this all the time. This is your Dan Lanning's amazing, it's not good enough when you're at North Carolina to go to the Sweet 16. You're not playing for Sweet 16s. You're playing for national championships. It's as simple as that. Michael Malone is a risky hire, but Billy Donovan would have been a risky hire as well. The problem for North Carolina is that you couldn't get Dusty May. You couldn't get Jay Wright, who they allegedly called. You couldn't get, Tommy Lloyd. Like, pick your guy. It feels like Michael Malone's a fallback position. They wanted, allegedly, to interview Billy Donovan, and Billy Donovan said, I won't be able to interview until after the NBA season is over. So they said, okay, great, but we're going to need to move faster than that, which you understand. And so they moved on and they hired Michael Malone. Not a bad fallback position, but certainly not your first 5 choices, in my opinion. I do not believe that Michael Malone was even in your top 5. How could he be? How could he be? If Tommy Lloyd was number 1, if Bill Self was number 2, if Dusty May was number 3, if Buddy at Iowa State was number 4, and Billy Donovan was number 5, Michael Malone is a fallback guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But let's just be very clear. The expectation is not to go to the NCAA tournament. The expectation is to win the NCAA tournament. It's why Hubert Davis got fired. He went out in the first round 2 years in a row. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. And I know that might be a thing that, gets people all turned, but that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. Plain and simple. College basketball is different than the NBA. It's a we will see higher. It is a we will see higher. We'll see. Length and girth. Okay. Billy won before Google search became popular. Kurt won after it became popular. See what he did there? Big 12 is the worst league. Well, thanks for having no idea what you're talking about. UNC tried to hire 2 Big 12 coaches, and they said, no, thanks. They did. And if you believe that they reached out to Bill Self, that'd be 3. So do you disagree it's a fallback position?
I think he's the best guy that was available to him. Yeah, call it a fallback position, call it a panic hire, call it, whatever you want to call it, dude. Whatever you want to call it, man. But I guess I just disagree on what a good hire is and what goes into being a good hire. Everyone just looks at, what guys have done, what guys have done in, I think Billy's coached 700 games at the college level. I think I was looking last night, and he's in the Naismith Hall of Fame, and he's got all these accomplishments from his time in college, and I just look at it and I say, like, all right, cool. Like, if we're gonna run out this whole thing about how national championships are the expectation, and this is what's good enough, and this is what's not good enough, and this is what we're trying to do, and this is what we're trying to accomplish, then I would rather have Mike. I would. I'd rather have a guy.
You live in this dreamland. Like,
what dream? What did I just say? That's a dreamland.
The point? What is the point of competing? This is the problem in the Big 12. This is the problem in a lot of schools in the Big 10. Except they don't live in a dreamland. They choose not to compete. Universities like North Carolina, this would be like patting John Shire on the back for losing the UConn game. Nobody's doing that, right? Like it just, to me, it's cool that Michael Malone coached in the NBA. Who cares?
He won a championship, dude.
Right, but what does that mean to a 16-year-old high school kid? Nothing. And you know what the truth is? You don't win championships with high school recruits anymore. You just don't. You win championships the way Sig did and the way Dusty May did in the transfer portal with older guys. That's where Michael Malone should have real influence, because he's won an NBA championship, because he's got real world experience. The AJ DeBances of the world are very rare, right? And how did that work out? It didn't work out at all, because AJ DeBances spent 75% of his season trying to figure out how to put his jockstrap on, right? You don't win with high school recruits. And the issue that is pervasive now in college basketball, and BYU, your example with BYU is a very good one. Kevin Young's a child coaching children. And it cost BYU dearly. Dusty May is the first coach to win a national championship with 5 guys out of the transfer portal starting for his team. That's what North Carolina hired Mike Malone to do, to go and poach players off other rosters. And if he does that, they will win. They will absolutely win. So I just think it's one of those things where you have to figure out how to qualify the Michael Malone hire.
So do you think he's going to have success or no? If you had to guess.
think it's very questionable. I think it is very questionable if Mike Malone will have success at North Carolina. And I understand he's got one of the most amazing hoodie sweatshirts I've ever seen. I agree. Have you guys seen this Mike Malone sweatshirt?
I love building something, preparing, being organized. But the most important thing that I miss is being a part of something much bigger than myself. Being in that locker room with the players, being with the coaching staff, celebrating a big win. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love my dogs. But I do miss being a part of that team camaraderie, locker room atmosphere. And I look forward to getting back to that. You know, I'm definitely not done coaching. Coaching is in my blood. I got that from my father. And I'm excited to get back coaching on those sidelines and teaching once again.
That is the greatest North Carolina sweatshirt maybe I've ever seen. That thing was incredible. His daughter, by the way, I think plays volleyball at North Carolina. So I think it's going to be amazing. Not feeling the hoodie, not because of the team, just don't like the font. Okay. I know it's not gold and blue and, you know. Is DeBances staying at BYU? No. Unless he's incredibly unintelligent. No. And I don't think he is. Malone is definitely a fallback guy, even though it's a good hire. Exactly my point. But if they truly wanted him from the beginning, UNC would have waited for so many coaches passing on the position to begin with. And it's okay. Listen, I've talked about this previously, and I'm sure Jake hates this too. Aim high. Aim for the biggest and the baddest. I've said this repeatedly. It's what's wrong with the Big 12. They don't want to compete for the best coaches because they don't believe they can win. They don't believe that they can fire a guy like Sonny Dykes and get a better replacement. right? They don't believe that they can fire Dave Aranda and get a better replacement because they, A, don't want to pay for him, and B, don't think people will take their job. North Carolina can afford it, and people, I think, would take that job. The problem is when Tommy Lloyd's at Arizona, why? And this is what we talked about at the time. Why would Tommy Lloyd ever leave Arizona? Well, what did we find out through this process? He hates his athletic director. So what did he get? A contract extension that included more middle management, so he doesn't have to deal with his athletic director. Perfect. Why would he leave? Why would Dusty May leave Michigan?
Doesn't make sense.
There's no reason for Dusty May to leave Michigan. But you have to ask, right? Don't you have to ask?
Yeah.
If Notre Dame fires Marcus because they lose a game this year, which they should, him and fucking Bavakwa. Anyway, if you fire Marcus, you should call all of the greatest coaches available to you. Every single one. Call Kirby Smart. Call Ryan Day. Who's the best coach in college football? Call him. Who's the second best coach in college football? Call him. Call Dan Lanning.
You don't want him to hire Dan Lanning. They shouldn't even waste their time.
Don't. Call Jesus Christ. Jesus
he won't take the job either.
Yeah, I don't think he could get permission from his dad, but I could be wrong. You know, is what it is. Lopes fan Gabe, Jokic ain't walking through that door in Chapel Hill. No, he's not.
Well, I know that Jokic is the only reason that Mike Malone won games. So, you know, it's going to be, I'm sure that he'll get ridden out of Chapel Hill in 3 years and they'll panic hire someone else too. So,
well, let's hope that they don't go Billy hoodie guy. Did you see Belichick's getting sued? Not good. Right? Like, I don't think Malone's a bad guy. What is he, 50-something years old? You know, like, I don't think he's a bad guy. You know, I just think it's one of those things where, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. He hasn't, when did he leave the Nuggets? After last season.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, all I'm saying is it's a proving ground. It's a proving ground. I think it's just gonna take time. The guy's never won at a major. He's never been a head coach at a major college. Why are you so red-assed right now?
I just think that people are so quick to look at all the things that he doesn't have. That's what I feel like goes on with Mike Malone in the hire. I think that you can criticize me or talk about, you know, the Sweet 16 or what's good enough or not good enough, but the reality is that I'm not looking at what the guy doesn't have. I'm looking at what he does have and what they need. And in my opinion, sure, I agree. Yeah, they tried to get 5 other guys. Those guys weren't available. Call them Penn State if you want to. But the reality is if you said to me, hey, well, you know, right here today, would you rather have Mike or would you rather have Billy? I'll take my chances with Mike. And if you disagree with that, I'm fine with that. But I'm taking Mike over Billy all day long, and it ain't even a question in my opinion. I don't even think it's a conversation. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Is Jokic retiring? No. God. It's going to be that day, isn't it? I can't see Sig moving to South Bend. No, but he's not also one of the best coaches in college football. So, at least not yet. But, yeah, I don't understand this whole thing, dude. You're getting to the point where I'm going to stop reading your comments because you come in here and you say like the same thing every day. Like, it's getting old. Dude, maybe this should be studied. Maybe this should be studied. Big Daddy Magic got his sweatshirt and all of a sudden he's turned into a jackwagon.
Yeah.
Never again will I make the mistake of buying somebody something. It will never happen. Stadium Guy James. Oh boy, here we go. BDM, stop talking trash. Dude. I should have stayed in bed today.
So let me get this right, just to make myself feel better after all this, UNC talk. You just tried to smack BDM and blacklisted Notre Dame in the process. Thanks, dude. That's really great, dude. Do you think that makes my life easier, dude?
How did your UConn pick go?
Do you think that makes my life easier, dude, when you blacklist Monty's favorite team? Do you think I'm excited to roll up when we inevitably talk about, Notre Dame underachieving, losing one game? Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
I don't understand. Like, I just don't understand the Big Daddy Magic thing.
It's weird, dude. Like, it's weird. Like, it's not personal. It's not anything other than you come in here and you either talk about Victor, or now all of a sudden you're a BYU fan after being a Utah fan. You're no better than any other fan who's flip sides and is a fair weather fan. That's who you are, dude, because now you're all about BYU, and BYU's going to beat Notre Dame, and AJ's the best. And dude, you weren't a BYU fan until AJ rolled up. So just
like, you used to say heinous, terrible things about Mormon people.
Yeah. Like, come on.
To the point where you got filtered by YouTube.
Yeah.
And now you want to yeah, it's amazing. All right. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show. Let's get into this Texas Tech situation, because I don't understand this. I do not understand this. And I am fully aware that as I was told in the comment section yesterday, I'm not from Texas. You don't get Texas because you're not Texas. That's what I was told yesterday in the comment section. I don't get Texas because I'm not Texas. Thankfully. This complaining thing about Texas Tech having to play a Friday night game is pretty remarkable.
Friday night is such a sacred time, and so we've got to really think through that. Talking to a couple of different coaches not in the state, they feel like it would be easier for them because it is a great idea. And so is it a deal to where Thursday night becomes more of a big deal than Friday night for the Big 12? Because it's got to be something that we really have to think through. The great thing, I really do think, if we get everybody in the room and sit down with our commissioner, he will listen and understand where it's coming from.
Like, how long are we going to complain about the big, and this is succinctly my issue with the Big 12. You're complaining, especially Big 12 fan. You guys love to complain about how you're a victim and you're an underdog. You're whining and complaining about your alleged best football team who is being scheduled by Fox Sports into a Friday night game against Houston. Oh, well, Monty, we don't do that here. Well, yeah, you do. It's national television, and I know this is crazy talk. Fox pays you to play football. So play football. You're telling me one Friday night in September, it's not October, it's not during the playoffs, it's September, against a team that, frankly, you should be 2 touchdowns better than. You're telling me now it's this big deal and the world's going to stop spinning and Cody Campbell, everything runs through Lubbock. No, apparently it doesn't. Somebody forgot to tell the boys in LA that nothing runs through Lubbock, Texas. Take your money and play your football game. And stop bitching about everything that doesn't go your way. This feels like you guys are a bunch of whining children. And you're just going to complain about everything until you get exactly what you want.
Because I'm kind of fed up with the conference one season.
I'm kind of fed up with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's my issue with it, is you wouldn't be hearing from anybody in Lubbock had they not gone to the CFP and won the conference for one season. And that's my issue, is that it's short-term success that now is like, oh, well, we won the conference, so now everything is up to us and we decide everything. And it's like, dude, like you're sitting here acting like one Friday night game is like going to be the deciding factor. Like, I'd almost understand it if you were talking about like the Big 12 championship game, or like, you know, a CFP game on a Friday night. And like, you know, it had all these implications, and maybe you were getting shorted on rest or something. And like, you know what I mean? Like if it was like that, I'd kind of understand it. You're talking about playing Houston, bro. And listen, I get it. Houston's moving in the right direction. I love what they're doing down there, man. But agreed. You should be 2 touchdowns better than them at least. Like, it shouldn't even really be that big of a deal to you to beat Houston. And you know, you what I think is funny is Joey does a press conference yesterday around spring ball and recruitment. And I listened to the whole thing. Sits up there for 20 minutes. Did anyone ask him about Friday nights? Anyone ask him about the business of Texas Tech football or anything like that? No, we're just all going to ask him about players and Will Hammond. And man, look at how nice those red uniforms look. And like, people don't want to make a big issue out of this now that they've gotten done bitching and moaning about the Friday night thing. And I just want to say, like, just because you won the conference one season, like one time, and then again, if we're going to sit here and rip all these other programs that aren't winning enough, you got run out of the building by Oregon, dude.
Yeah.
Like don't come into my comment section and tell me Oregon's not good enough, or this team's not good enough, or that team's not good enough. That's in the CFP every year. And then you're in the CFP the first time ever, and you got boat raced. That you don't run the conference, dude. You should be appreciative. You should be saying, thank you, Fox. Thank you, TV partners, for featuring us on Friday night. That's what you should be saying, man. Not that high school football is an institution in the state of Texas on Friday night, because Fox doesn't give a damn. Like, I will never understand the arrogance that this conference seems to suffer from when you win the conference 1 year. It's beyond me, dude. Absolutely beyond me.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's guys like James who are the problem. When this is what you're running out, and you're like, oh man, TCU's won more games than they had 1 year. Sonny Dykes is a fraud and should not be the head coach at TCU, but this is the simpleton mindset that allows Oak State, TCU, Baylor, K-State, Kansas, the teams that perennially disappoint in this league, who don't consistently win double-digit games, who don't consistently compete at the top of this league. TCU under Sonny Dykes is not competitive. And yet you get pseudo fans, and admittedly, James is a bandwagon fan. He has no business being a TCU fan whatsoever. But it's the fraud mindset that has really damaged this league. It is, you could say a lot of things about Texas Tech. Texas Tech is playing the game as well or better than most people in this league.
Mm-hmm.
It's Texas Tech and BYU, period. It's people like Baylor, TCU, Oak State that are crippling this league. It is fans that enable guys like Sonny Dykes to be a legend when he's really just a mediocre coach who doesn't really win anything. As simple as I can say it. Hasn't really won anything. And you look at this league, and when you have somebody like Texas Tech complaining about playing on a Friday night, it's a really bad look for the league. It's a really bad look for the league. And when you have a guy like Sonny Dykes, whose claim to fame is he won the WAC 15 years ago, cool. You're defending a guy who can't win games regularly. It's brutal. And so now the guy that is for 1 year, Joey Maguire, winning games in this league, now doesn't want to play anybody on a Friday night. He's scared of it. Whether is that reality, maybe not. But it is incredible to me that Texas Tech believes that they shouldn't have to play on Friday nights because, well, this is Texas. It's incredible to me. I'll never understand it.
Yeah, I guess it really, I think it's worse because of the whole Cody Campbell stuff that we've been talking about the last like few weeks and everything. Like, I feel like if this had happened before any of the Cody Campbell, government stuff went down and like all his initiatives and things he's trying to do, and like if this had just popped up and we didn't know who Cody Campbell was, this wouldn't be as big a deal. I feel
I
like.
agree.
But because Cody's doing what he's doing, it's like this is a cherry on top that I feel like people are a little bit burned out on Texas Tech's antics. And it's like, dude, go out and win the conference again. Like, do it for a couple years in a row, and then you can start carrying some water and saying, hey, like, we carry this conference. We've been to the CFP. Like, you got to understand, it's elite company by Big 12 standards to say that you've been to the CFP like 3 to 5 years in a row. Like, hey, we're there every single year. We've repped the conference 3 to 5 years in a row. Okay, at that point, then you want to bitch and moan about Friday nights. All right, cool. But that's just I feel like you're the business right now that needs to grind and just keep growing and keep doing it year over year, and then from there you can
talking.
Yeah, right.
Cody
like,
Campbell needs to stop talking. Right. I defended Monty. I don't need you to defend me. And then he wants to bash me. Listen, you're what's wrong with Oak State. You defended Mike Gundy, and you continue to do this stupid shit with TCU. Sonny Dykes, will you please just acknowledge that Sonny Dykes is an average-ass coach who is available in triplicate? He's not special. He's not unique. He's not an elite recruiter. He's not an elite portal guy, and he just doesn't win games. He doesn't win games. What you look at Sonny Dykes as a human, he's an incredible human being. But look at his 3 years at California, at UC Berkeley. Average ass. Average, man. You look at the fact that he was 19-30 at Cal. And then you're like, well, but Monty, SMU. Okay, SMU was not a Power 4 team. Then he comes to TCU and takes over a roster, and it's 13-2. And then 5-7, 9-4, and 9-4. And worse than that, 3-6, 6-3, and 5-4. And you're like, oh, this guy is a god. This guy, man, let me tell you how amazing. He's not amazing. He is not amazing. And you enabled Mike Gundy for a decade. You defended drinking and driving. You defended that in here. You said that Ollie Gordon shouldn't be punished. You're a guy who defends shitty football consistently. What more do I like? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Michigan wins and people have a case of Tuesday morning red ass. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. But I'm telling you, this mentality of, hey, we're amazing when you're not amazing is crippling your programs. Like, I can go up and it's Utah. Oh, Morgan Scalley's amazing. We're in a better place. You're not. When you, and I think this is almost universal. When you are the only one saying something, usually you're completely wrong. When you're the only one who believes that Sonny Dykes is amazing, you're completely wrong. When you're the only one who believes that DUI, yeah, he should have played, no big deal, you're completely wrong. You literally on this show said he should run some stairs. All's forgiven for DUI. That mentality can't be explained away. And in the Big 12, I think it is so incredibly damaging that Dave Aranda is still the head coach at Baylor. That Sonny Dykes is still the head coach at TCU. It's incredibly damaging that you were begging a guy not to retire at K-State. And I'm not getting back into the K-State nonsense.
But
you were begging a guy not to retire. he retires and you hire Colin Klein, you hit this home run, who probably was the one guy who could save your average ass quarterback. And you still say the guy was amazing and he would be an amazing coach. No, he wouldn't have been. No, he wouldn't have been. And that is pervasive across the Big 12 at almost every school, except Texas Tech and BYU. And at BYU, every time a major job is open, they come and call your head coach. That says something. Look at the transfer portal. Look at the money they're spending. Look at Joey McGuire. Joey McGuire's not going anywhere. Joe McGuire's Texas through and through. But what was Joey McGuire before last year? He was an average-ass coach who didn't win games because he couldn't tackle anybody. Then you went and spent money on your defense, and what happened? You had a massive year, and you took a huge step forward. Right? Like, TCU doesn't play the game. Baylor doesn't play the game. K-State doesn't play the game. Kansas doesn't play the game. Utah hasn't played the game. Cincinnati, UCF, terrible addition to this point because they don't play the game. And the bigger issue is, and I'll continue to say this about the Big 12, Oak State, TCU, Baylor, Houston, and Texas Tech have to be the 5 pillars of strength because they're in the state of Texas. And they're quite literally the dregs of this league.
Facts.
That's the problem. So, is what it is. Bobby Bagels.
Bobby.
Monty, I think I am more impressed with your amazing calmness when you get a wacko comment from James and BDM than I do at your knowledge of sports. Yeah, it's almost tragic what's happened to Big Daddy Magic.
Agreed. Completely.
I'll never understand it.
I just don't understand why like, what's funny to me is, so like the BDM thing is, is its own thing, right? Like, obviously I think everybody agrees there's a long track record of him hating on BYU. He's now flipped. He's a BYU fan. Like, I think we all agree on that. That's not even controversial. But what's hilarious to me or funny to me is that James does this whole thing, and he's done this before, right? This isn't his first time. If you've watched the show for any amount of time, you know this. Like, he'll come in and try to, quote unquote, defend Monty against BDM as if like that's some kind of service to humanity. And then it'll be like, I don't understand. Why did you slap me? Why did you criticize me? Or I think he said bash me. It's like, well, dude, because you blacklisted Notre Dame and you're criticizing a guy who flipped from Utah to BYU after you did the same thing with TCU and Oak State, bro. You can't just ignore that, man. Like, that's not how it works, dude.
And now that Oak State has hired a competent head coach and he went and got his quarterback. Oh, Oak State's amazing. Can't believe it. Man, I'm so proud of my Oak State football team.
But what happened to TCU, dude? I thought you were a TCU fan now.
Semen and
like,
demon and stuff.
So it's not, again, James, it's not personal. And, again, if you want to
It's
roll out.
sports, it's not personal, it's sports.
Like if you want to roll out another boycott of the show for, more than 5 minutes, I think your last one lasted approximately 3.5 minutes. If you want to make it 5 this time, knock yourself out, dude. But I'm just telling you, it's not personal. It's just the business of the comment section, man. That's all it is.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want, but those words have consequences.
Y'all want to play.
Not defending Texas Tech, but I wish high school football was half as big here as it is in Texas. High school football can be amazing.
Listen, if you want to talk about as Cody Campbell and company keep referring to it as the institution of high school football in Texas, yes, dude, everybody knows that high school football in Texas is a great thing. That's not even the point. The point is you like these guys are trying to say that high school football in Texas is a bigger, more important moment than Big 12 football. And that's just not the case. That's not true ever. It won't ever be true.
Correct.
So that's what I can't get over, man, is that they're like, well, we shouldn't have to play on Friday night because our travel and man, it makes it hard and it's challenging. dude.
So let me get this right. You don't want to play on Friday night because, well, there was a road game the week before because Houston goes to Lubbock that week. There was a road game before. And so, wow, we can't flip that game. But now it's because of Friday Night Lights and high school football, and just play the game.
It's Houston, dude. You're not playing BYU. Like, it's Houston. You should run them out of the building. Like, come on.
Yeah. I never said Coach Dykes was a god.
Brother.
I am a current TCU student. I'll root for the front. Listen, it doesn't matter if you're a TCU student. It doesn't matter. I could be a student somewhere and I'm not. I'm a Notre Dame fan.
U.S. Americans.
The problem is you have like 7 schools you root for.
Are you a student at all 7?
Help me oh my God. We're shocked that BDM switched up after he manipulated to get what he wanted when we know he makes his living by manipulating celebrities to get what he wants. Is a very good point.
He's a hoe, and I want that known.
BDM is a paparazzi and an autograph guy. So, David Persons, I get that, James. I'm just not impressed with what Sonny has done. So far, 2022 was largely Peterson's accomplishment. Oh, but he's won the most games in the last 4 years, Monty. Look at me scratching his balls.
Bavacqua.
Yeah, you're bavacquaing the hell out of TCU with that take, dude. Come on.
Do you understand how uninformed saying something like he's won the most games in the last 4 years is? Do you understand just how lacking context that is? It just means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Mike Smith, Texas Tech does not want to play on Friday nights and BYU does not want to play on Sunday. At least BYU forever won't play on Sundays.
Yeah, that's not new, dude. And BYU's reason is a little bit different. That's a religious commitment. Not,
Joseph Smith and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get beat down by the white iguana if they play on Sundays. Texas Tech is saying, hey, dude, we don't want to play on Fridays so that Jimmy, the high schooler, can play football instead of us. Like, what do you mean, dude? It just is
so you're calling it the white iguana now? Is that what you...
Oh, the white iguana has been a thing for a while, dude. Or I'm sorry, the white salamander, not the iguana. Salamander was the proper nomenclature back in the day, I believe.
Mm-hmm. 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 That was not what I was referring to. The coach told my son, quote, "We don't play soccer in Texas, son. We play football." That's exactly right. That's right. Matchup throwdown. Do you think the kids looking at cheerleaders on Landman is a Hollywood twist on a true story of some creepy guy in a Honda Civic watching TCU cheerleaders? I think that could be very possible. I watch Landman. I know what the cheerleaders at TCU look like. Boy, is what it is. ESPN is the one who said TCU won. So you just took it from ESPN. Oh. And what did I say? It lacks all foundation, all context. It lacks all understanding. And I'm going to guess, and I don't know which writer said that, but I'm going to have to guess it was either Stephen A. Smith. No, because that would actually take research, and Stephen doesn't do any of that.
You're fucking Cole Beasley.
It was probably Pete the Mole. That would be my guess.
That would be a very Pete the Mole take.
It would be. And I swear to God, if you correct it and say Thamel, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Monty, don't you know it's Thamel, not the Mole? Yeah, dude, we're aware.
Look, Rudy Gobert, relax.
Yeah.
Patterson got fired with a better program. I just don't understand the thinking over in Sadler Hall. Yeah. Sonny Dykes is mediocre, and they don't want to pay the money to hire somebody else. It was one of the major talking points about them being divas when they were getting ready to join the Big 12. Point still stands. We've got two teams that don't want to play on specific days. You knew what you were getting with BYU when they joined the conference. Based on their religious institutionality, they do not play on Sundays. Hell, the Jazz on most weeks don't want to play on Sunday. It is what it is. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Joey McGuire's like, high school football is an institution. We got to protect that.
Okay.
And we don't want to play on 6 days. That's 6 days. Pussies. Sorry. Wait, hold on. Let me mix up the drink. I feel better. Don't worry, James. I still bleed purple.
Yeah, so I just want to say one more thing too. Like, James, here's my advice to you, seriously, and I'm not even being a red ass. If you're gonna read ESPN, which I'm fine with, that's cool. I read ESPN too. You can't just take one stat out of one article and roll that out like your life depends on it, right? Like you got to understand that like surely you thought, okay, wherever you got the stat from on ESPN, let's just say it was Thamel, just for whatever, example's sake. Okay, TCU's won the most games in football in the last 4 years in the conference. Why haven't they gone to the CFP since that year? Why hasn't there been more success? Why did Josh leave? Why? So I just think that there's a lot of questions there. And again, 13-2, 9-0 so wait, let me get this right. You were 9-0 in conference, and then you were 3-6, 6-3, 5-4. Like, I understand you had 1 year,
guys.
But
this is big time stuff here.
Dude, like, you can't seriously look at this and be like, "Oh man, Sonny is amazing."
This
dude.
is Nick Saban's record, right?
Gosh,
this is Ryan Day at Ohio State, Kirby Smart, Newt Rockne. Can you believe these? Wow. That's, man. Holy cow. Wow.
Oh, dude.
Oh, demon. MDiv. Stop. I chose TCU over Baylor or SMU.
Oh, so you were in the portal. Okay.
Give me some credit for that. You my guy, you literally sat here and talked about Preston Stone's penis on this show.
That's the only reason SMU's on the list. You get that, right?
Actually, he didn't do that might be some hyperbole in there.
I believe it was referred to as clean cut by James.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
You sat here and talked about how great SMU was and Preston Stone, and then they're dead, and it's your fault. My pastor, my wife, and former mentor, all went to TCU, so I did. Right, but they're not turncoat traders who
We have an issue
TCU
here, though.
fans.
We have an issue here, though. Didn't I thought you said that your wife goes to Baylor? So was this the prior Walmart wife or your current wife that you said wasn't hot at one point?
That's a good point.
Because you did say that your wife went to Baylor. So I'm just trying to understand. So you're telling me that your wife went to Baylor or went to TCU and now went to Baylor, and you had the burden, the heavy weight to bear of trying to figure out which school would have been the best choice for you.
And I just want to clarify, the comma means it's not your wife, comma, and a former mentor. So she used to be your mentor, then you smashed, so she's your wife and not a mentor anymore. That's not what the comma.
I've prayed for moments like that.
Past participle and stuff. I just want to make sure that we're a noun's not a verb. You maybe indent that a little bit. I could be wrong. I would like to announce that hell's not real, and I'm very thankful for that. Just to clarify, I love that the BYU edition, it was the best edition by the Big 12, and the pack might still be around if they had let BYU join. We get it. You hate the Mormons.
Yeah. Like BDM once did.
You're jealous that you don't have BDM's magic underpants.
If we had bought BDM a blue Buffalo Bills hoodie, do you think that he would have gone back to being a Utah fan? Like, would it have been opposite day the way it is with James?
I do feel used like a hoe. I'm going to be honest, and I paid you, and I'm the one that feels used. Like buying Big Daddy Magic, that Bills sweatshirt was a huge mistake.
I never sucked any ding dongs.
And it's why you don't pay the homeless guy, because they wind up right back asking you for more money.
You're out of your freaking mind.
Cow turd,
Yeah.
TCU got rid of Bryles and made an upgrade. TCU will contend for the Big 12. Okay. Don't forget, they're going to run the ball, and that's why they have a spread offense.
Listen, it's a run-first spread offense, Monty. What? By the way, will you have heartburn over Josh Hoover being a Heisman Trophy contender at good old Indiana?
Okay. Maybe it was Dana Marie who went to Baylor. That's a very good point.
I mean, it's a good question.
Matchup throwdown. Is James' current wife a cashier at Buc-ee's? I believe she is.
You are not the guy.
Believe she is. TCU Media Relations on line 1. Hey, Monty, can you not post his comments, please?
Oh, dude, that's
I love
great.
The BYU edition, too. Mike is 100% right. The Pac-12 should have added BYU. Very sage. Your experiences.
Dude, no, he did not. Look at this last comment about Hoover right here. Second from the bottom.
I wish Hoover all the success in the world. He's just not a good fit in our current offense.
You're running a run-first spread offense. He's a gun. He is a slinger of the rock, and you're saying he's not a fit for a spread offense? What?
Kiss my butt.
Do you guys pay James to take this abuse, or is he just into that kind of thing?
It really hit me.
It's the problem is, and it's a daily thing. I freely admit it. James says something so gravitationally uninformed that you just can't let it go.
You don't have a choice. I have a hook in me. I can't skip this, dude. Like, he does it every day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what, James? I can't quit you. You complete the comment section.
He has our full respect.
Kill you.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not.
What would I do without you?
Me. Bro.
I swear to God, I don't want to hear one comment about Oklahoma State from you. You are, and I'm happy. Listen, if you're transitioning, I'm happy to facilitate that and support you. You're transitioning into whatever this is you're going to be. James, we all make choices. Okay. And whatever you want to live your life like this, you do that, my guy.
And I agree. I mean, listen, in all seriousness, dude, I give you a lot of credit. You're here every day. You comment, you play the game.
For you. This is for you.
Yeah,
there you go.
See?
Do you want to screen grab that shot real quick? Legitimately, this is Oak State James right here.
What's up, dude?
Wow. So you understand he has challenges. Mainly is, but anyway, the point is, James.
That's right, T.
You do you, my guy. Chuck. James has Everlast on his midsection. I believe he does.
Bro.
James,
I don't know where Chuck came from, dude,
I don't know either.
That's a solid account so far, bro.
Chuck, you're welcome here anytime you like.
That's a really solid account.
James is transitioning like Christy Noem's husband. I believe that's true. You know, it's the problem with James is it just was so aggressive. Like the whole, hey, let me put a bunch of TCU stickers on my car. Aggressive horned frogs. This is James's Japo shitbox. And it's just adorned. Notice the TCU sticker on the mirror cap.
Because it's all part of the plan.
I just sticker things. Right? Like, Monty in confession about how buying Needy BDM the sweatshirt was a huge mistake. And the priest is actually in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this is, dude.
And notice he stopped sending us videos.
I will say I don't understand the heel turn to loving BYU. I genuinely though, like, I don't get it. I don't understand like where that whole or what the choice was, or if like you were off on another planet after, ingesting a certain plant. And you just came to your senses and were like, yeah, dude, I've now been brought back to earth and I'm now a BYU fan. I mean, at least with James is like, yeah, dude, like I went to school or I'm going to school at TCU for like a cup of coffee. So I'm going to use that as an excuse to embrace a better team. I mean, I can understand that level of scheming on some level, but BDM is just unexplainable, bro. Like I don't.
Bro, what is this? Okay.
They're having me do my blood pressure 3 times. I thought you'd be happy that I got to go to a Notre Dame BYU game that you said was going to be the best game in the state of Utah. I go, and now you're saying all that. I haven't said anything bad about BYU since 2023.
Okay, that's not true.
That's not true.
And from day one, when I saw AJ DeBanza, and he wanted to be the face of the Jazz, and had a great relationship with Ryan Smith, I was a fan from day one. And they just got a guy that uncommitted somewhere.
Uncommitted.
Supposed to be really close to AJ in ability.
Okay, so there's that where your shirt's half off.
So I just want to clarify.
Wait, hang on.
Hey, player!
Oh, boy.
You got me a red long-sleeve Buffalo Bills hoodie.
My mistake.
So I'm going to do you a favor. You have until April 12th.
Nope.
To write a poem telling people how wonderful I am.
Nope.
And I will call off the BYU football team on the 3rd quarter so Notre Dame doesn't get embarrassed that bad.
Yeah, I am never writing you a poem. I did all I could do.
Okay. Dude, you're not a BYU football fan.
Yeah. Like,
what are you talking about, bro?
This is crazy. Do you understand how just insane this is? That you're trying to say that you're a BYU fan. Marcus is like, what is this, the Pat McAfee show with WWE? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, what? Like, come on, bro.
It's incredible. It is what it is. Sad music, Jake.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, dude's out here talking about how Monty needs to write him a poem to save Notre Dame football as if BYU is somehow better than Notre Dame. Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Baskin Robbins, James. I'm pretty sure we all lose brain cells after watching this show every day.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Baskin, my wife is a Baylor fan. I am not. We saw both the men and women play basketball at Baylor. Wow. I didn't think they allowed that in Texas. And I was wearing purple both times. Wow. Okay.
Dude, Bobby Bagels changed his name to Baskin Robbins James.
31 flavors, baby. It's exactly right. 31 flavors.
Oh, bro.
Anyway, let's put a bow around this Texas Tech thing, which, by the way, this was what we were talking about. Should the Big 12 make it so that Texas Tech doesn't have to play on Friday night? And my point is, there's no way they can do that. Because if you do it for Tech, you got to do it for Houston, Baylor, TCU, Oak State, BYU, Utah. Oh, that's right. Every team in the conference. So how are you going to tell Fox Sports that, nope, our guys aren't going to play on Friday night? In a game that's a national showcase for Texas Tech hosting Houston, which last year were two of the better teams in the conference. And we're just supposed to say, no, I don't think that, Jake, I don't think there's any way you can let them off the hook on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it should be treated like it's some type of punishment. That's my thing. Like, the mentality around this is just all wrong as far as like how Tech views this and like the nature of the conversation. I mean, honestly, like it's almost like Tech feels like they're being punished, or like somehow it's like some chore to play in a national spotlight game on Friday night. Like, that's what I don't understand, versus saying like, yeah, we'd love to play on Friday night. You know, we feel like, you know, it's a great opportunity, but we also feel like we would rather play on Saturday or something. Like, it's just so, I feel like they've just approached it in such a negative way over high school football. And I get it. It's a big deal in Texas, but maybe this is precisely the issue with the conference. You're just worried about high school football in Texas. Brett Yormark and the Big 12 are worried about national spotlight and TV partners. And I really despise the fact that Cody Campbell is on this whole thing about, well, Brett works for us. He works at the behest of presidents and the board, and it's a classic like power move, trying to like make Brett feel like the little guy. But the reality is this conference would not be where it is without Brett Yormark. I mean, this conference would not be
100%
what it is right now without Brett. So Cody can try to do that, but if I'm Brett Yormark, I'm not even putting any mind to that. I'm not even trying to. I wouldn't even pay attention to that comment. I would just be full on like, hey, we're trying to get national spotlight attention. We're trying to grow the conference. You're either with that or you're not. And it's just that simple.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't necessarily believe that you can just say, no, we're not going to play on Friday nights. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I hope they don't. I hope they don't cave. I hope they don't acquiesce. Yeah, that's the thing. It is what it is. Utah can't play on Saturday mornings because the Davis High School women's lacrosse team is playing at the same time.
Yeah, totally, it's a real burden, dude. Real burden.
Totally agree. You know, national champs, Cope. Okay. Oh, cool, dude. I hope you're doing okay. Since Texas Tech is so whiny, put the Arizona State Kansas game on Friday. Game on ESPN instead of Virginia versus West Virginia. Why would you do that?
That's not the point. Nobody wants to see Virginia versus West Virginia on Friday night. You want to talk about, you know, Kenny and Arizona State, maybe, but they got to show they can bounce back, right? I mean, not only did you have a rough year last year, you lost your quarterback in the portal. Like, Kenny's got to reprove himself now and that team. So, with all due respect, like, you're not, as much as I love Kenny Dillingham, and I do, you're not putting Arizona State on a Friday night right now. He's got to reprove that program again.
It needs to be a matchup that people will, watch.
like Texas Tech. Come on.
Yeah. Big Daddy Mental seriously needs to seek counseling, dude. I worry about my guy.
He's not a bad guy. It's just it's just a little weird. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit different. And I just am not the guy. Look, you can criticize me for a lot of things, man. I get that. Great. But you're not going to catch me being like, yeah, well, man, like I grew up a Bears fan and, Brian Urlacher was my guy. And like, the Bears are my NFL team, but now all of a sudden I'm going to be a Patriots fan because I like Tom Brady. Like, that's not how it works, dude. You don't get to just flip and flop and just choose whatever team you like because, like, do you understand growing up?
Exactly.
Like the drought the Cubs were in to win a World Series had been so long that the excitement around that team before the Bartman Moises Alou moment happened was palatable. It was incredible. You're playing the Marlins and you've got them. And then that moment happens and the season's over. And everybody's crushed. Like I'm not going to just turn around and be a Twins fan after that. Or like be some random ass fan, dude. That's not how it works, dude. And with college football, I was not lucky enough to grow up in the college football world. I was not. Notre Dame wasn't.
That's right.
Wasn't in my day to day. It wasn't baked in. So like that's why I don't really have a team in college football. I don't really have this like yeah, I like Alabama. Nick Saban is really who brought me into the college football scene. So I follow Alabama pretty closely, and that's why I have so many thoughts on Ty Simpson and like how that kind of finished up. And we talked about that, but I just think that you can't flip flop, dude. Your fandom for teams has no attachment or relationship to where you're getting your MDiv. You're an Oklahoma State fan through and through, and that's how it's always going to be. And that's why you get so much run out of being a fake ass TCU fan, dude. That's the problem.
A fake ass TCU.
No matter how many stickers are on your car, with all due respect.
I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the idiots in the chat. Okay.
Yeah, here's the problem.
They're not idiots.
You're in our chat, and they're not idiots. So either way, you are talking to us.
Mike Smith, just a reminder, Monty. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Okay.
Glad you're not dead. I will be expecting the acoustic guitar signed by the late John Denver, who went to Texas Tech and has Denver in his name. Exactly right.
Okay.
And admittedly, Big Daddy Magic has ruined all of that for you guys.
Yes.
Put that on Big Daddy Magic because I will never, ever do it again. I will never do it again. The big three NCAA sports are football, men's and women's basketball. Go big or go home. Yeah. How about UCLA women's basketball? Pretty good. Welcome to the nightmare. Hello. If they allow Texas Tech not to play on Friday, that's going to set a really bad precedent going forward.
Couldn't agree more, dude. Couldn't agree more.
Can't do it. I think that's exactly right. Michigan fans are acting like college basketball fans now because Michigan football program is down bad. Yeah. Hey, listen, when all you can hang on to is your butter knives, sometimes you just got to put all the butter on the toast.
And again, Alex, you should be prepared. I think Whittingham's going to win. I really do believe he's going to win a national championship there. I do, genuinely. I think
don't say that out loud.
But it's terrible to say it over, it's terrible to say because it is Michigan. I don't like Michigan. I don't run from it. I'm accountable to it. I don't like Michigan. I don't like what they do. I don't like what they're about. I don't like the culture. It's got the take for me around Michigan is so much deeper than Michigan sucks. Like that's not my take. My take is that you do wrong by people regularly enough where hiring Kyle Whittingham didn't feel like some great accomplishment. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. It was a good cheap trick pull. David Persons, Sonny losing Josh Hoover is one reason keeping him was a big mistake.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm a Mariner fan. Tell fat ass to stop striking out every other at bat.
Bro. Jim, are you an ABS fan?
I don't want to talk about it. Do we have to talk about it? The Cubs quite literally are one of the worst teams in baseball. Sub 500. We're giving up runs like, they're candy canes at Christmas. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Not a good stretch right now.
Bro, it is. And it's not like we're playing the best teams in baseball. Oh, well, Monty, it's cold outside. Who cares? It's cold outside for the other team, too. And you were in Tampa yesterday, you scumbag.
How cold could it be?
And then there's the Mariners who just can't hit right now. Like, does Dumper have a home run yet? I don't think Dumper has a home run yet. I could be wrong. It's early. I get that it's early. We get it.
It is. Yeah.
It's early. Totally understand it. But you got to figure out Raleigh does have a home run. Oh, he's hitting 146, bro.
Tough.
Naylor's hitting 114. Julio's hitting 143. And Fat Ass is hitting 146. Rosarena? Or no. Leo Rivas is hitting 147. Oh. Yeah, it's early.
Yeah.
Fake ass TCU fan. I've done the work. No, you haven't. I will have my demon in 3 years. Dude,
Brother.
Nobody cares. You're not a TCU fan. Stop. Your boy Jack tried to warn you about sending BDM a gift. He did. He was what we old folks say, right as rain. Shut up.
For once in my life, dude.
Mike, why? Why bring up right as rain?
Good.
Why?
James, bro, your work as a student does not mean you're a fan of that school.
No.
Like, that is not the relationship, dude. Like, no one's ever done it that way.
Kyle is bringing a natty to Ann Arbor.
Agreed.
Lamont Tucker, hello. It's like your spirit was conjured. Hello. Jake is right. Coach Witt will win at Michigan within 3 years. It's over. Michigan doesn't win a game for the next 5 years.
Have you not learned your lesson on this, bro? This is the genesis of your entire presence in the chat.
Good
today.
band. Genesis was a good band.
Dude, your first comment today, or second comment, one of your first couple of comments was, defending Monty against BDM and blacklisting Notre Dame.
Hey, Monty.
You just did the same thing here, dude. You just blacklisted Kyle Whittingham at Michigan. Now,
notice the Cubs haven't been the same since you defecated all over them.
Right? Since you took a dump on their face, they haven't been the same, dude.
Dump on them.
At least with this is Michigan. So at least we're good to, at least I can say, okay, well, unfortunate for Witt, but, screw Michigan. Unfortunate for Witt, but screw Michigan. Okay. All right, cool. So with this one, in this particular case, this case is fine. But, dude, you got to be really careful with who you blacklist, because blacklisting Notre Dame is not going to get you in a good spot on the program.
Marcus wants to know, amongst other things, we're actually having a serious conversation, but Marcus wants to know why BDM always shows up without a shirt in my Instagram DMs.
Come on, dude.
Put a shirt, seriously, put a shirt on. I don't, you guys, I don't proclaim to understand the proclivities of our folks. I truly do not, but I'm just here so you guys can all laugh at me.
Yeah.
How long until Witt gets sacked like Bronco? Wow. Already hoping Kyle Whittingham, dude. The sad truth is somebody who despises Michigan football, Kyle Whittingham was a home run.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the best hires. That may be one of the best hires in major college football history. When you take it in total and you look at the circumstances and what they needed and butter knives and
the Utah situation,
cheeseburgers for hungry kids, Witt getting run out of Utah, it may be perfect. I want Witt to win a natty. I do not want Michigan to win. It's a hard line to walk. Yes, it is.
So basically what we're saying is we hope he gets to the national championship game and loses. That's essentially what we're all saying.
Big dumpy. Big dumpy.
Yeah, big dumper, dude.
Dumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monty, we need to get an old school SNL skit to turn the Cubs around, bro.
Yeah.
It's just, I understand that this pervasive, disgusting Pastor James White type argument.
That it's State James today, just so we're on the same page with the burner account.
Scumbag Ollie Gordon take.
It is what it is.
It's just, I understand it's early.
Yeah.
I get it. But we lost 2 or 3 to the Nationals. We lost 2 of 3 to Cleveland because we had the rain out. And now you you lost in Tampa.
Yeah, the problem is they're just not playing good baseball right now. You know, the ABs are mediocre right now, in my opinion. The Ben Brown situation, I don't know how long you can keep running him out there, dude. And you did it. I believe the other day you did it in relief for like 30-ish pitches or so or whatever he was out there for. And it just is, he's just not quite ready.
Ben Brown in 3 games. 8 and 2/3, 6 hits, 4 earned, a bomb, 4 walks, 8 Ks, a 4.15 ERA. If that was the worst, okay. The problem is our starting pitching has not been good. Our starting pitching, like you look at Cade Horton, DL, with dreaded forearm stiffness from a wrist injury. ABS was necessary. As the tech improves, I expect it to replace umpires calling strikes in the next decade. Nah, I don't think that'll ever happen.
Do we enjoy the fact that umpires are essentially getting embarrassed in a lot of these? Like the CB Buckner situation, what was that, last weekend? Where he misses the call at first. He gets facialized behind home plate really bad.
Facialized.
Like he's missed. I think he's leading the way with overturned ABS calls right now. Like the reason I brought this up was, look at this right here. People are saying that this right here is not good for the game because it's such a small sliver. Like 99.9% of this is out of the zone. There's 0.1% of it that's in the zone.
That's called a strike.
Yeah, well, that's my point, right? Like, that's the whole point of ABS is we want to get the strike and ball call correct. So even if it's 0.1% in the zone, it's still a strike.
That's a strike.
Like, that's a strike. And on this particular type of pitch, I wouldn't even be criticizing the umpire. I probably would have called that a ball too. That's the human element. Right? But we don't want the human element with balls and strikes anymore. So we don't get to have nice things anymore.
But Jake, it's quote unquote.
Yeah. So bro just sent me this picture. Bro literally just sent me this picture right now out of the blue. No
happened to your
caption,
chin?
no nothing. Is this the new profile picture you would like us to show when we're showing you on the screen?
But do you understand that James,
Monty.
Anyway. Look, I understand this is the picture you want us to use when you're on the show, and I totally get it.
It is what it is.
Hey, James, do you have the president on speed dial, bro? Oh, my gosh, dude.
No. Cubs typically mean completely useless by September. Thanks, Chuck.
Man, Chuck, you were doing so good, dude.
You can go off now.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
Here I am.
Man, thank you.
Anyone who thinks the Michigan scandal mattered doesn't know ball. Yeah, that must be it. BDM is not okay, or at least you can outrun him. This is true. And I have locks on my door and security downstairs. You know, shirts and pants are always optional, apparently. James is like a voodoo priest throwing out curses. Papa James Shango. Exactly right.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
Exactly right. You know, it's fine. I wish I had Tiger Woods' money. Listen, Jesus said you don't need money, Pastor. We need water. We'll turn it into wine.
But Monty, right? What am I going to pay homegirl at Magic City with? I need money.
But you, James, you have Jesus in your soul. Why do you need money?
Well, just because I was screaming Jesus' name in the club the other night doesn't mean I don't need money, Monty.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, one more real quick. I am not a fan of too many things that slow down the game. Too much replay slowing down sports. ABS hasn't been too bad so far. I actually really like it. I really, really like it.
I just think that ABS, what it does is it exposes people in the worst ways. Meaning, hey, if you're the umpire missing it constantly, you're getting exposed right now. But at the same time, if you're the player who ABS challenges a pitch in a crucial moment that's clearly and definitively a strike, and you wanted it to be a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also not a great look. So I think it's a fine line to have to walk.
Yeah, and I was just about to say this. Like, anti-lock braking systems are really important for the safety of Americans.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Michigan sucks, period. I agree.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
James, camel eye needle. Okay.
Caramel.
You know. Tiger needs better girlfriends. Let's get into it. It is Masters week.
Yes.
How excited for the Masters are you?
Could not be more excited. Glad the tournament's behind us, fully into Masters mode, dude. Couldn't be more excited. You know, I have my look, I have my old reliables with the Masters right now. I've got all the stats nerds on X giving me like, hey, bro, the last 800 Masters winners
since 1942
were plus 800 strokes gained last 4 tournaments they played. You know, and then, of course, we've got the live guys doing what live guys do, bringing drama to the tour. And
drama.
like, you know, John Rahm having drama and stuff like that. And like, it, you know, we get Cam Smith and all the live guys. And then, of course, I got to get to see Patrick Reed's douchebag face talking about how it was great to be back on tour and I miss the live guys, but it was right for me and my family. And yeah, okay.
Blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah,
So,
blah.
So if we get to the tournament itself, I think that the Masters this year has so much potential. You know, you look at, let's start with equipment. Look at the TaylorMade versus Titleist saga we have going on right now. You know, Scotty Scheffler rolling out the new TaylorMade driver only to struggle to make the cut and then go back to his old TaylorMade driver and hit the ball a mile is not really what TaylorMade needed heading into the Masters. That probably wasn't part of the PR plan.
I would agree with that.
And then you double down on that with Cam Young hitting a 375-yard drive with a Titleist GT2 driver to win the Players. Probably also what TaylorMade didn't need heading into the Masters. So it'll be really interesting, like obscure things to look for in the Masters. What player wins and what equipment do they use on their way to victory?
Jake, it's not using. Can we get it right? What driver are they gaming?
Yes. What driver are they gaming? Yes.
Because listen, on this track, you got to hit the driver well.
Listen, annoying things that golfers say, sidebar. I despise when bro who shouldn't be playing the tips is playing the tips and then rolls up and goes, yeah, dude, like you should play the tips like that. You're not playing the course for real if you're not playing the tips, man. And then goes on to bogey or double like every hole. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you don't need to play the tips, bro.
Yep. I don't, Bryson or Fleetwood? Fleetwood. Tiger and the Kardashians have their types, and they should be together.
Yeah, and then the Tiger saga is a whole other conversation. Now, I would love, you guys should all know this, I would love to be able to play you like 20 minutes worth of Tiger getting pulled over arrest tape. But, you know, of course, TMZ has that thing on lock for copyright issues, so we can't do that. But, yeah.
Why do we still care about this guy? I mean, listen, I have a lot of empathy and compassion for addiction. It is very difficult to deal with. I want Tiger to do well. But I am fascinated by a guy who cannot competitively play golf anymore, still leading the golf conversation.
I mean, in regards to Tiger, I mean, it just shows the human element and the human side of someone that is struggling with some sort of an addiction. And he's not immune to it just because he can hit a golf ball really well. He's had 25 to 30 something surgeries, and when you're going through that many procedures, it's painful coming out of those procedures. I've had procedures done, and I typically try and stay away from that, all that stuff, because I just know that it's painkillers. There can potentially be a downfall to it. It's a little bit selfish of him to drive and put other people's, in harm's way as well. But when you're the player that he was and how strong-willed he is, he thinks he can do almost anything, and that's probably why he's probably driving and a little bit under the influence. He was my hero. He's my hero. He was my hero growing up. The reason why I play golf is because of this tournament and Tiger. And, it's hard to see him go through what he's going through.
Yeah. And again, why are we so obsessed with Tiger Woods? The media won't let it go. The media was asking everybody, your thoughts on Tiger, your thoughts on Tiger. Should Tiger be here? Should Tiger be playing? Like, Tiger Woods is no longer a professional golfer. Let's just get that right. Tiger Woods used to be a professional golfer, and when he played, he was the single greatest golfer we've ever seen. Now he is, watching the body cam footage, I don't know how you don't believe he was impaired. You look at that footage and you truly think there's somehow, some way that he wasn't impaired? The huge yawn in the back of the car, the sweating profusely, the way he was talking.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's rough. That's rough.
I think that I agree with you in the big picture here about Tiger. I think it's difficult to move on from a guy who had such stardom, and I think it's a really different dynamic in a game that's team sport versus individual sport, which is why I think it's been so difficult for golf to move on. You've got a guy who, dominate, like, even to this day, like, how many times a day you're scrolling on Instagram or TikTok for any of us, and you see a Tiger Woods highlight, you see, this chip or that putt or whatever it might be. Right. So, like, his moments and the things that he gave to the game are why I think everyone still obsesses over him. I agree that he's not a professional golfer anymore, man. Can he roll up on any course and beat you? Yeah, of course. Right. Like, he could beat any of us, but that's not the point. The point is that it's just gotten to a point where now to me, guys are out here like Jason Day saying that it's selfish of him to have put other people in danger. Now I'm not the only one saying it's a character issue. That's why it's an issue, because guys look at him and they say, well, yeah, dude, you were my hero. You were the best golfer to ever really do it during your time. And now I can't really continue to be a fan because of what you did. And that's the struggle of it. But, do I think that Tiger is going to go to, is going to be in prison or something over this? No, I think that, I agree he was impaired, but I also agree the field sobriety test, the female officer doing that field sobriety test, it did not appear she knew what she was doing. She didn't really, just everything from like how she was executing the eye test. The lawyers have talked all about it and how they would chew through that. So I don't think he's going to see significant penalty from this. I just think that the problem's going to be, no matter how long you're away, no matter where you go, overseas, wherever you want to go and disappear for 6 months, when you resurface, because inevitably you will, you're going to have to talk about this. You're going to have to talk about what went down on that day and what you were doing. And if people don't believe you, I'm not sure you're ever going to recover from that. You have to be genuine. You have to be transparent and say what you did. And that's what's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate those field sobriety tests when the cops will say you are not following instructions. Well, most people have trouble concentrating when they are nervous about possibly going to jail, and they're incredibly flawed.
Yeah.
That's not even the point. The most damning footage, I think, is him, A, saying, hey, I just talked to Donnie, and B, talking about how, like when he's sitting in the back of the police car and he's yawning and he's sweating, and
yes,
it's tough to look at. It's tough to look at. Mr. Green, Tiger wants Phil's oldest major winner record. I don't know about that. I think Tiger Woods, and I know a lot of people have talked about this, but the addiction to competition, it's tough to overcome, dude. It's tough to overcome. That's the best way that I can say it, is that the addiction to competition makes it very difficult to function when you can no longer compete. And golf is such a mental thing. Golf is such a Scoop always talks about it on the show in the comment section, how much he hates golf. That's all mental, dude. Like it is, it's brutal, dude. I feel a lot of empathy for Tiger because I do think what Jason Day said about the surgery, or excuse me, Twiga, because, the surgeries and whatnot for Twiga, I think it's brutal. And the pain is probably brutal. You cannot drive under the influence. You just can't. There's no excuse for that. I despise it. I believe you should never be allowed to drive again. You should never, ever be allowed to drive again. Tiger's sex addiction brought him down, and whoever had him running for fitness destroyed his knee. By the way, I'm Team Elin. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, one, it's kind of hard not to be Team Elin, right? I mean, after what Tiger did. And so I think generally speaking, we're all kind of on the same page with that. But I think, when you talk about whoever had him running, Tiger had himself running, dude. Tiger was a workout freak, dude. He wanted to do that. He was run 4 miles when I get up, go hit 1,000 balls, come back, lift weights, go run again. Like there's clips of him talking about it, and it's part of why he was so dominant. But I think that the presidential thing and just the way he behaved during that stop, like I don't know. Like everyone obviously is saying he called the president to get a pardon. I don't think he called the president to get a pardon. I don't think that's why he called the president. I think he called the president because he knew that his girlfriend would be really pissed about this, and he didn't want Donnie to find out through her. He was like, all right, let me call him real quick and, get ahead of this before I have to disappear for 6 months. And, so I just think it's the reality is the best way to say this is it's a mistake you can't make. He was in no position to make that mistake. And I don't know what, it's harsh to say there's no recovery from this, but I'm not sure what the recovery looks like. And I'm not confident now we'll ever see him back on the tour. It's really questionable for me. TGL, sure.
Champions Tour, maybe.
But the tour, I highly doubt it, dude.
Tiger went from professional golfer to professional sideshow. He may be able to play golf again, maybe, but he needs a year or two to clean up his act. I agree with that.
But it's not just the pills, dude. It's he's got to get that cleaned up. But here's the issue. It's not like dude is a junkie for no reason, right? It's not like he's on it for no reason. He hurts every day.
Yeah.
So the question is, what is he going to do to still be able to play golf on some level and not have his body hurt every day? That's what I think I don't know that there's a solution for that. In fact, I doubt there is because as Jason Day was saying, and we've all talked about, he's had so many procedures. So what do you do when you've had 30 procedures and your body hurts every day? Like, what do you do?
Rock and Rant, Tiger is the reason why even most MIG guys on tour now are rich, but it's time to move on. He needs to fade away, except for golf version of Old Timers Day. Totally agree.
And think of it this way too, dude. Like, and I think you're right. Like the competitive edge is why he doesn't want to fade away, because just rolling out to any course isn't good enough for him now, right? When you've been to the pinnacle he's been at, it's not good enough just to be in Jupiter and playing whatever.
Well, I also think he's incredibly influential in golf, and he is going to have to. What he's going to do? He's going to go to rehab. Then he's going to come back and he's going to do the interview, right? And you're like, he's going to have to rehabilitate his image.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. The guy is a $1 billion brand. And again, TaylorMade, Sunday Red, golf course designs, TGL, the Players Board. He's one of the most influential voices in the direction of the PGA Tour. I mean,
yeah, Sunday Red's doing just fine, bro.
Yeah. We'll see. Tiger's just lucky he did not seriously injure someone or do massive property damage. How? Tiger's going to play the U.S. Senior Open. Just watch. I would think he would. Yeah. It's funny that Michigan fans are acting like big college basketball fans now because Michigan sucks in college football. Are we still at the Michigan thing?
Apparently.
Okay. Tiger just needs to fade away, make the occasional appearance, realize who is and where he is in life. The glory days are over, bud.
But don't we also, at the same time with that take on Tiger, don't we also have to talk about Scotty? Don't we also have to talk about these different guys who are the face of golf who just don't care? Like,
I don't think it's don't care.
I legitimately don't think that Scotty cares about being a star. I don't. Like,
I think he's a millennial, man. That's a generational thing. Scotty wants to play golf with his friends when he's back in Dallas, and he wants to win a bunch of money on TV.
Yeah.
And then he just wants to go home and make more babies, which I'm all in favor of. I love the process of making a baby. It's amazing and wonderful. And my point is, Scotty just had another baby. Scotty likes playing big time golf. He does not, but Tiger was never a great interview. The difference is Tiger was gravitational. Tiger was something we had never seen. He was young, he was black, and he was elite at golf. We'd never seen that before. And I don't know that we'll ever see it again.
Right.
That's what made Tiger so special. When he spoke, everybody stopped and listened. And when he played, everybody stopped and watched. You know, not having to walk the course would be a major help to Tiger. It would be. Right. Innocent people don't first call the president pardon. Well, I don't think he was. I think he was calling who he thought was going to be his future father-in-law on once removed. Right. Because he's dating Don Jr.'s ex-wife. So, you know, I don't think he was calling the president being like, hey, pardon me, bro. It's a state crime. President can't pardon you. Maybe he doesn't know that. I don't know. You know, Tiger is an erector set. Could be. Word is that Tiger is now going to refuse to play golf in Texas on Fridays. I've heard that.
Due to high school golf conflicts.
Tiger needs to do gold commercials, soon to be forgotten. Well, Buddy, I'm telling you, is going to do the interview. He is where is he in? Sweden, I think, or Norway? And
yeah, I think it was Zurich, I think.
Switzerland?
Yeah,
somewhere
around
at
there.
rehab.
Yeah.
He'll come out of that and he will do the interview. And then we'll all forget this happened and we'll move on just like we have in the past, because that's who we are. That's what we do. We forget about it and we move on.
Yeah, I guess, man. You know.
All right, Debbie Downer time, because this story's breaking in the NFL.
Oh, damn.
And this is a tough conversation because obviously the late Steve McMichael, the Hall of Famer, the Chicago Bears legend, died from ALS. And now studies have come back that showed his brain was rife with CTE. Who's really surprised? With being a football player, a defensive lineman in the 80s, a professional wrestler. Do you guys think about this at all ever with your favorite teams, with your favorite players? Does stuff like this impact you, Jake? I know. Well, I'm not going to speak for you. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think about it all the time watching NFL games, man. I you know, it's tough. Like the CT brain impact stuff really got to me with Tua. The Tua Bengals game is really the one where I was like,
nope.
Yeah, like I can't do this anymore, man. Like this is really hard to watch, and it made me stop watching the Dolphins. I haven't watched the Dolphins in a long time since then, basically. and it's hard because, it's like the Tua finger pictures are just nasty, nasty visuals. And what's difficult is like the NFL continues to grow and the NFL continues to be on more and more platforms and they continue to do what they do. And I'm like, yeah, man, like I'm kind of glad we're not an NFL show per se. Like I'm kind of glad that we're more based around college football because at least in college football, I have some semblance of enjoyment. But it's difficult when like this past year with the Super Bowl, like I wasn't jumping for joy over the Super Bowl or, I wasn't like, I didn't feel like it was a great playoffs. We had some moments. The Caleb Williams Rams game was one of my favorite football moments I've had in the NFL for a while. But yeah, I mean, CTE is something that I would say brain damage in general, like just the punishment that these dudes take in general. It's difficult because on one hand, I'm like, at this point, you can no longer claim to be naive about this, right? At this point, you have to say, yeah, like I understand what I'm signing up for. I understand that this is probably going to take, let's be conservative and say 20 years off my life, probably. In most cases, guys are moving on in their 60s, and we've seen guys it's happened younger in their 50s. So, think about all these, look at Jordan Seaton and the transformation he's just gone through before starting his first season at LSU. Look at the commitment the guy's made to his body and the game and everything that he's going to give to whoever drafts him. The guy is committed as you can be, just as the Steve McMichaels of the world were.
Yes.
But what does it get them? Well, it gets them a lot of money and it allows them to help their family and get them to an elite place in life. But I often wonder if, so if the trade is, okay, I'm going to be here for 60 years, but I could have been here for 90. And those 60 years will be like I'll be a millionaire for 30 of those, let's say, or 35 of those, let's say. I don't know. Is that a fair trade? Is that are the last 5 years of your life where you're miserable and basically incapable of doing anything? Is that a fair trade? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a really tough question to answer. That's why I say, like, I had the opportunity to play football in high school, man. They wanted me to play defense. I could have easily played and gone down that route.
Yeah.
And I chose not to because I didn't want to risk that.
And some of these details, dude, like I'm just sitting here reading through this, like it is
like, how do you not put your kid in golf at this point? If you're a parent, how do you not put him in like baseball or golf or like sports that don't include massive brain damage?
Yeah, I don't know how we just continue to overlook this. Honest to goodness, I wish we could just overlook it and be like, yeah, it's part of the game. No, it's not part of the game. It's not part of the game. And I really struggle with what football does to people's brains. Like I really struggle with it.
And we've only really been taking this seriously for like 5 years. It's not like this was, you think back to, again, like early 2000s or way back in the 80s, like you're talking about guys that took huge hits playing on basically concrete and then had what amounts to a concussion. And then there's numerous stories of guys saying they don't remember things or like they don't remember the next day or like, there's just numerous stories of that taking place. So it's just, I don't care how good helmet technology is going to get, dude. If you're going to run your face into a wall 100 times a week, that's not going to end well for you.
I would agree. Recently saw a blur where Cam Scat said that CTE is not real. Hope it was satire. We can't play it because it was copyrighted. We played it once and got crushed for it. Puka said the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not fake. Chuck, I'm a Dolphins fan and Tua's brain got scrambled. Sad to say and see. Yeah, there's no way to run from it, Chuck. Like, how do you run from that? right? I mean,
And
that's
then you've
the
got
reality.
these quarterbacks who are like losing weight and cutting because they want to run more, and like it's like, dude, you are just, that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, do concussion protocols work? I don't know. I think it's a very big question. And the NHL is a great point here because concussions in the NFL are one thing, but you look at guys like Bob Probert, Ty Domi, those guys that fought every day of their lives. There's a reason that Bob Probert's dead, right? Because in the NHL, in my opinion, has a CTE problem that nobody talks about. And it's why they legislated the big hits out of the game. It's why they took those hits out of the game. And sure, do we miss big open ice hits? I guess. I don't. Because I do think about what football does to their brains. As a Bears fan, we've lost guys like Dave Duerson to suicide. And we had to watch Steve McMichael just deteriorate from a behemoth of a human being to nothing before he passed.
Yeah.
Right? Like is it worth it?
I struggle with that. And I especially struggle with it in a time where people still have a choice. You know, like,
yeah.
I think about, like, look at LeBron, dude. Look at any athlete that's not a football guy that's had an amazing, look at Shohei Ohtani, right? No brain damage, making billions. Like, you're in a great place, dude. You should live till you're like 70 plus. You should be totally fine, dude. And I think that, I don't know, I can't see how I could ever recommend playing football. I can't do it, bro.
There should be alarm bells going off around you for CTE. I mean,
they're coming for me, dude. Yeah, they're coming for me, bro.
I don't know. It's hard to overlook. As a Giants fan, I'm petrified about Dart. Scat is already a liability.
Yeah. And it's these young dudes. Again, Scat's going to be that guy. Scat will be in concussion protocol 2 to 3 times this year. You can count on that.
The story of Troy Aikman getting hit really bad in one game and completely forgets playing in the following game. This was before concussion protocols. You mean the guy that's doing the Tom Brady for the Miami Dolphins? Troy Aikman? That guy, did you see that? Troy's involved with the Dolphins now. Ask Junior Seau's family if CTE is fake. Seriously. I think the league has done a lot to help, but it will never go away. I don't think it'll ever go away.
That's the issue. It's in the fabric of the game. And that's why I say, man, like, again, I know that golf isn't for everyone, but dude, if you can get your kid into golf at a younger age, you can get them into golf before they're 5, 6. You got a real chance at setting them up for a life that's super enjoyable.
Yep. Rock and Rant, today's show was a complete roller coaster, which is why YouTube can't handle it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, is that YouTube doesn't know how to handle our awesomeness.
Yeah.
You know. Remember that Lindros hit? Oh, my God. Yeah. Bro. Dude.
The Paul Correa hit.
Oh, there are so many. Scott Stevens. Famous wrestler Chris Benoit had CTE as well. Still terrible what he did, though. Terrible.
But it makes you wonder. We don't understand the relationship between CTE and how like, when we don't know how to identify CTE early on in its relationship to how guys behave as it progresses. We only know how to study a brain after someone has passed and identify it.
100%.
And that's really, it's really troubling, honestly. Like, I'm not, again, I'm really careful to say, like, hey, this dude was a bad guy or like X, Y, and Z. But like, I think that, dude, I think it's sketch for sure.
Yeah. Gladiators in Rome.
Exactly.
That's what it feels like. I love the game of football. I love it so much. But man, you just know it when you see it.
Are you not entertained?
You just know it when you see it. And this story's tough for me. Steve McMichael was a huge part of my childhood. Huge part of my childhood growing up a fan of the Bears. Huge part of my childhood. And that's just all gone with. I have a lot of I think about the Gary Fensics of the world, Mike Singletary, Steve McMichael, Walter Payton. Look what Walter Payton went through for this game. Look what Walter Payton went through. Look who Jim McMahon is these days.
And for what?
And for what? Right? Like, it sucks. The whole thing sucks. All right, real quick to the non-sports story today. Are you guys tracking Artemis? Do you care about the mission to the moon, Jake?
I care
don't give
about
a shit.
it.
I haven't seen The Godfather, and
Well, I care
I'm just
about
gonna be
it,
honest with you, Monty.
but dude, I haven't, bro. I haven't made everyone making this big to do about it came out yesterday. I think it was NASA put it out that this Artemis mission is now put astronauts as far away from Earth as they've ever been.
Yep.
And people, like all the tinfoilers and all the people are out saying, well, what do you mean? Like, if the people landed on the moon, they would have been farther than Artemis. And it's like, dude, like, can we not just get like one? Is there any semblance of, hey, we just put people in space, they're traveling around the moon and back? Isn't that cool? Isn't that don't we appreciate that? Like, is it lost on anyone that NASA died for 30 years or whatever, 20 years, and now has come back to life and we're back in space like it never happened, and we're in a great place with it? Like, I think that's important, man. It's important to understand the significance of the possibility of life on another planet. That's still something that we are not able to do. And I'm not saying that that'll happen in my lifetime. I'm not confident in that, but it will happen in the next couple of generations, in my opinion. In the next probably 200 years, 100 years, you're talking about being able to do that. And so I think missions like Artemis are super important. Am I intrigued by the really strange anomalies they're finding on the backside of the moon that we haven't spent a lot of time studying, like the oddities and like all the impact sites and all the things that they're finding? Yeah, I am, for sure. I'll never see the moon. I'll go to space. That'll never happen for me. I would be shocked if we ever had that technology before I died. But it excites me to know that we're at least prioritizing it again. It's like the one positive thing that I could look at out of anything the government's done lately.
It's amazing, this photo that the White House published. So I want to believe it's real. Now, I know that the flat earthers out there are going to hate this picture. So you guys probably should. You guys probably ought to flip the channel.
Yeah, where's the ice wall on this picture, dude? I don't see.
There's
James, can you explain it?
Look at this shot that Artemis got of a species that they don't understand. James catching a stray for no reason while I wait for this picture to upload into the tray.
Clean, methodical, and thorough.
You know, anytime you're ready here. Here's the picture that the White House published. That is incredible to me. Like, that is, can you even imagine the loneliness? I cannot even imagine what that feels like. I just.
Yeah, I mean, it puts things into perspective pretty quick, dude. And again, I don't know. So I say, man, not here for a long time, here for a good time. You know, we are a speck of sand on a beach, nothing more. And I think that it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that, you know, these pictures really, they showcase what we're really doing, because it's incredibly difficult for us as humans to appreciate our role or like what our significance is without pictures like this.
You just cannot imagine how far away from Earth you are. Like, you can't even. Can you imagine? Like, the photos that these guys are taking of the moon. It's just, You have no idea. Like, what the hell is that? Right? Like the photos that you're seeing of Earth from space is, what is it like to be in this space capsule and you see out your window? You're just cruising by the moon, bruh.
No big deal.
Right? Like you're just cruising by the moon. Like, look at this photo that NASA uploaded. And that's why I give it some credence. Look at that photo. Can you imagine being the one taking that photo? What is that even like?
You are, dude, you are, and this is why, like, you know, when you bust my balls about like Interstellar and everything and why I was so hot on that movie, the take of, hey, there's what, like maybe a foot of aluminum and steel or whatever that vessel is made out of separating you from like your death and just the vast blackness of space. And we're out here in space taking pictures of our moon. Like, it's an incredible feat. I think we just take for granted that we're able to do this, man. And that's what's crazy. We're just so eager to say it's fake and it's not real. And if this is fake, then I'm an idiot. I'm a fool. Like, I don't think it's fake. I think it's as real as it gets.
Oh, I think it's real. Anybody that's telling you it's fake, you're just, come on. I mean, this photo right here.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You're on the far side of the moon, dude. Look at that. I can't even, can you wrap your brain around seeing that with your eyes? I don't know that I could do it. I really don't know that I could do it.
No.
I mean, God, that is incredible. That is incredible. That is a cool picture. I like that picture of the Earth too. Okay. I find the moon mission extremely interesting, though I have also a hard time considering how much it costs. Don't get me started. Versus that money that could have been spent on people still on Earth in this country. Yeah. There is that. That picture is incredible. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. James was the snake kung fu on the 5 Deadly Venom movies. Okay. I think it's way cool. We have astronauts in space. I don't follow it too closely, but love seeing the pictures and hearing what they've discovered. It's incredible. It is really, really incredible.
Yes.
It's very cool, but I question our priorities. Well, this also has been in the works for how long? You know, I feel like the moon could use an IPF. Totally agree. James, did you just become a fan of Neptune? Nah, James is a fan of Uranus.
Dude, how do you do this, bro? How do you catch strays on every topic? You're going to put a dome on the moon, bro. Like, yeah, let me fill in the stadium on the moon so that we can block the view of the Earth. That seems like a good idea. Like, come on.
I care about the moon mission. I do. I think it's remarkable.
Yeah.
I think it is truly spectacular, and I don't even know how you, again, I just go back to how the F do you wrap your head around that? In all seriousness, how do you wrap your head around that? I will never understand it. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah, the vastness of space is, science says we're incapable of understanding it. That it's just not something that our minds can understand. It's just not, we're incapable. And I think the question really is, moving forward, okay, we've proved that we can go around the moon. We've proved that, we've established that, like, we know how to do that. assuming the astronauts make it back safely and everything goes to plan, we know how to do that. So the question really is, what is the next stop in our space endeavors? What is the next thing? And the next thing is either civilization on the moon or civilization on Mars. Those are the two things that everyone talks about and everyone wants to figure out a way to get accomplished. Elon's talked about it a million times. We've been talking about, having a presence on the moon for decades. And I'm guessing we just don't yet have the tech to be able to accomplish that. Everything from just basic life necessities like water or oxygen, like those are the things that we don't have, that we don't have the ability to generate in that environment. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. Is it a thing where you're figuring out a way to transport water to the moon? I mean, is that what we're doing? Like, I don't know, dude. I have no idea. How do you replicate gravity on the moon? I don't know.
It's fascinating to me. All that is now, all that is gone, all that is to James is eclipsed by the moon.
Okay.
James has truly become the fabric and the DNA of this show.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
He is currently working on a demon, which is to say he wants to build a practice facility on the moon.
An indoor lunar facility.
Yes.
Okay.
The sun flares that are happening right now are exposing our astronauts to some extreme radiation. I pray for these guys are not harmed. You knew the risks when you climbed onto that rocket ship, dude. It's crazy. We proved that the moon is golf friendly. I believe it is. But why doesn't anybody fix their divot marks on the moon? I have a feeling that we'll see aliens come to Earth first before we ever get to Mars. That could be.
Yeah.
Hey, look. Big Ten making it look easy. Kind of like your boys on Epstein Island. Paterno and Sandusky. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they don't need you. Why don't you leave the conference, bro? They're already winning enough.
Russia considered using baby James in Sputnik, but last time switched to the chimp. Should have used him. It's speculated that there is ice in the south of the moon. Hey, go look at it. I can't even imagine being on the far side of the moon and being eclipsed to the point where you can't see Earth.
Yeah, that would be sketch, dude. Not really sure I'm down.
Do you, before you go to the moon, before you straddle up on that rocket, do you just come to grips with the fact that you might not come home?
Yes. You say goodbye to your family with the understanding you may die. Yeah. Yep.
I can't imagine that.
And your family understands that. Your family understands the risk.
Yeah.
Yep. As much as they understand that if you do make it home, you have to re-antiquate yourself with gravity again, which is a brutal process.
Yeah, and who are you going to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, who are you going to be? That's incredible. I can't imagine, and I know I keep saying it, I can't imagine putting my eyes on that view from the far side of the moon.
Yeah, man.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
And then look at that Earth and think about all the conflict and death. We got a guy talking about how he may wipe an entire off the face of the Earth today. And look at that world. Look at that Earth.
And none of it matters because all of it could be gone in like 2 seconds. So just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Cubs superstar Cade Horton will visit Dr. Keith Meester in Texas today.
We'll see you later, bud. We'll,
after his MRI came back dirty.
Yep. TJ, see you later, bud.
Sounds like TJ is coming. God damn it.
Yep.
I'm.
Yep.
That's incredible.
You just know it, dude. It's the Forearm stiffness or forearm discomfort, forearm tightness, anything forearm related that's not talking about 21 times a month is death to a pitcher, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just looking. Yeah. All right. No, I'm not doing it. Just look at the earth. Enjoy that shot. Enjoy the peacefulness of it. Yeah. Ground control to Major Tom. Right? Exactly right. All right. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Be nice to somebody today.
James.
Just seriously, be nice to somebody today. Say hi to somebody. Hold the door for somebody. Treat somebody you don't know and you've never met and you'll probably never see him again. Treat somebody well today. It's as simple as that. And if you get in an accident, get to theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, where you never pay out of pocket. You never reach into your pocket to scratch a check to the Advocates because you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Go get it at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.